ନା ମୁଁ ଏଇଥିରେ ବି ସେ ମଡେଲ ଗ୍ରୋଥ ପୋଲ ଟା ବି ଲେଖିଦେଇଛି କରିଦେଇଛି। ଆଉ ଯାହା ଯାହା ଅଛି ପ୍ରାଇମେଟ ସିଟି ବି ସେଇଟା ଥିଲା ରାଙ୍କ ସାଇଜ ରୁଲ ବି ଅଛି। ଏ ପିପିଟି ରେ କରିଦେଇଛି ତାପରେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଆପଣ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଅଛି।
ହଁ ତ ମୁଁ ପିପିଟି ଟା ଆଜି କରିସାରିଲା ପରେ ଯେହେତୁ ମୁଁ ଡାଉନଲୋଡ କରିପାରୁନି ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଟା ଲିଙ୍କ ଫେଲୁଅର ପାଇଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବି ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଟା ମତେ ଏକ୍ସେସ ହେଇଯିବ ଡାଉନଲୋଡ ଟା ଗୁଗୁଲ ରୁ ମୁଁ ସେଗୁଡା ବି ପଠେଇଦେବି ୟୁନିଟ 2 3 ର ପିପିଟି ୟୁନିଟ ୱାଇଜ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି। ଯାହା ଯେମିତି ହବ
ଆପଣ
ସେଇଟା
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ଦେଖିକି
ଯୋଉଟା
କରିଦଉଛି।
ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା କ୍ଲାସ ରେ କହି ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ମଡେଲ ଟା
ହଁ
ଆପଣଙ୍କର ପିପିଟି ଦେଖିଲେ ବୁଝି ହଉଛି ଇଜି ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ ଆମ ପାଇଁ ନୂଆ ଲାଗୁଛି। ଆଉ ଏତେ ଭାଷ୍ଟ ଏତେ କମ ସମୟ ଭିତରେ କଭର କରିବାଟା ଭାରି କଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି। ଆଉ
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ତ
ସେତିକି ଟିକେ
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମୁଁ ପିପିଟି ରେ ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ ଏଲାବୋରେଟ କରିକି ଟିକେ ଲେଖିଛି ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ଯଦି ମାନେ କି କମ ସମୟ ଭିତରେ କି ଏକ୍ସେସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହିଁବ ସେଇ ପିପିଟି ରୁ ହିଁ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ବୁଝିଯିବ। ମାନେ ମୁଁ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ୱାଇଜ କରିକି ତାକୁ ଏଲାବୋରେଟ କରିକି ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଦେଇ ଦଉଛି କାହିଁକି କି ଆମେ ମାନେ କି ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଟ କୁ 2 ଘଣ୍ଟା କ୍ଲାସ ରେ ସରିବା ତ ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଉଛି ମୋ ପାଇଁ ବି। କାହିଁକି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଥିଓରିଜ ରହୁଛି ସେଇଟା ବହୁତ ଆଉ ଏମିତି ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଟଚ କଲା ବେଳୁ କେତେ ବୁଝିପାରିବେ କେତେ ନ ବୁଝି ପାରିବେ ମୁଁ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ପିପିଟି ରେ ଟିକେ ଲେଖି ଦଉଛି କି ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ସେଇ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା କିଛି ନଥିଲେ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ତାକୁ ହିଁ ପଢିକି ଗଲେ ତମେ ଟିକେ ଏକ୍ସେଲ କରିପାରିବ ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ।
ହଁ ଆମେ କାଲି କ୍ଲାସ ଟା ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଥିଲା। ଆଉ ଭଲ ବି ଲାଗିଲା ଏତେ ସବୁ ବୁଝି ହେଇଗଲା ଜଣା ପଡିଲାନି ବହୁତ କାଲି କଭର ହେଇଗଲା। ଏ ବହି
ହଁ
ଏଇଗୁଡା ଦେଖିଲା ବେଳକୁ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ବହୁତ ଟାଇମ ଲାଗୁଛି କଷ୍ଟ ବି ହଉଛି। ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ମନେ ରଖିକି ଏତେ କରିବାଟା।
ହଁ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି
ଭଲ
ଟିକେ
ବି
ସେଗୁଡା
ଲାଗିଲା।
ସବୁ ଯୋଉଟା ବହିର ଅଛି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ପଢିକି ନୋଟସ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ପଢିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ସେଟା ଟାଇମ ଟେକିଂ। ତ ମୁଁ ଯେତିକି ମୁଁ ତ କାଲି ସିଲାବସ ଲେଟ ରେ ମୁଁ ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ଖୋଲିଲି ତା ଆଗରୁ ହିଁ ମୁଁ ଅଲରେଡି ପିପିଟି ଟା କରିଦେଇଥିଲି। ତ କାଲି ରାତିରେ ସେଗୁଡା ଦେଖିଲି କୋଉଟା କୋଉଟା ମିସ୍ ଆଉଟ ମୁଁ କରିଛି ସ୍କିପ୍ କରିଛି ୟୁନିଟ 1 ର। ସେଗୁଡା ଆଜି ଏଇଟା ୟୁନିଟ 2 ର ଟିକେ କହି ସାରିଲା ପରେ ୟୁନିଟ 1 ର ଯାହା ଯାହା ଇନକମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡା ସବୁ କହିଦେବି।
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ଯୋଉଗୁଡା
ଏକ୍ସାମ ଟା
ଯୋଉଗୁଡା
ବି ପୁରା ଏକ୍ସାମ ଗୁଡାକ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ସେମିଷ୍ଟାର ୱାଇଜ କରିଥିଲେ ଭଲ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା। ଏବେ ପୁରା ଏକା ବେଳେ କି ସବୁ ପେପର ଗୁଡା କରିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଏତେ ପଢିବି
ଓହୋ
କି ସମୟ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ତମର ସେମିଷ୍ଟର 1 ଆଉ 2 ଏକା ସାଙ୍ଗରେ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ ଗୋଟେ
ଓହୋ
ଦିନ
ତାହେଲେ
ଗ୍ୟାପ
ଜୁନ
ନଥିଲା
ରେ
ସବୁ ଏକ୍ସାମ ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ଓହୋ ତାହେଲେ ଏଇଟା
ଗୋଟେ
ଇମିଡିଏଟଲି ସରିଲା ମାନେ ହିଁ ମେ ରେ ଜୁନ ର ଏକ୍ସାମ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଓହୋ
ହଁ
ତାହେଲେ
ସେଲ୍ଫ
ତ
ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ବି ସେଲ୍ଫ ଷ୍ଟଡି ପାଇଁ ବି ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଟାଇମ ବି ଏତେ ଆଉ ନାହିଁ।
ଏଇ ଶୁଣ ଏଇ ପିପିଟି ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଦେବି ତାକୁ ହିଁ ଖାଲି ଟିକେ ଫୋକସ କରିକି ପଳେଇବ ସବୁ ପଢିବା ତ ପସିବୁଲ ହବନି ବହି ଗୁଡା ବହିରୁ ଯାହା ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ତମର ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ସେଗୁଡା ସବୁ କରିକି ଦେଇଦେବି। ପଏଣ୍ଟ କରିକି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ
ଗ୍ରୁପ
ହଁ
ରେ ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେଲେ
ହଁ ନା
ସେଗୁଡା ଟିକେ ଏକ୍ସେଲ କରିଦିଅ ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ମାନେ କଣ 2 ଡେଜ 2 ଦିନ ଗୋଟେ ଦିନ ବି ପଢିଦେଲେ ଟିକେ ମନେ ରହିଯିବ କଣ କଣ ଟିକେ ଲେଖି ହବ।
ହଁ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କୟୁ ଭଲ ହବ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ ବହୁତ ହେଲ୍ପ ହବ।
ହଁ ମୁଁ
ନହେଲେ ସେ
ପଠେଇଦେବି ମତେ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ କରିକି ପଠେଇଦେବି। ମୋର କ୍ଲାସ ସରିବ କାଲି ତ କ୍ଲାସ ନାହିଁ ପରଦିନ ଅଛି ଆଇ ଥିଙ୍କ 19 ସଣ୍ଡେ ଦିନ ଅଛି। ସଣ୍ଡେ ଦିନ ଅଛି ମଣ୍ଡେ ଦିନ ନାହିଁ ଟ୍ୟୁଜଡେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସ ଅଛି। ତ ଟ୍ୟୁଜଡେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସ ପରେ ମୁଁ ଟ୍ୟୁଜଡେ ଦିନ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବି ସବୁ ଯାକ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ନହେଲେ ୱେନସଡେ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ଆଉ କେତେ ପିଲା ଜଏନ୍ କଲେଣି ମତେ ତ ମୁଁ ଦେଖି ପାରୁନି କେତେ ପିଲା ଜଏନ୍ କଲେଣି ମୁଁ ଯେହେତୁ ସେୟାର କରିଛି ସ୍ଲାଇଡ ଗୁଡା।
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ 10 ଜଣ କଲେଣି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିଦଉଛି ଏବେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିଦଉଛି ଅର୍ଗାନ ଓକେ। ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆମେ ପଢିବୁ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ୟୁନିଟ ରେ ଆମର ଅଛି ଅର୍ବନ ଇକୋନୋମି। ଅର୍ବନ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ମାନେ କଣ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଡୁ ୟୁ ମିନ୍ ବାଇ ଦି ଅର୍ବନ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ? ଇକୋନୋମି ମାନେ କଣ? ଇକୋନମିକ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଡୁ ୟୁ ମିନ୍ ବାଇ ଇକୋନମିକ?
Monetary transaction, ma'am. Money related
ମନିଟାରୀ
issues.
ହଁ ଆଉ ଗଭର୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ରିଲେଟେଡ ଫାଇନାନ୍ସ ଇସୁ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ
Yes.
ତ ତାକୁ ଆମେ ଡିଲ୍ କେମିତି କରିବୁ ଅର୍ବାନ ଏରିଆ ସହିତ ହେଲା କଣ ଟା ଆମେ ମାନେ ଆମେ କୋଉ ଟାଇପ ର ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବୁ ଅର୍ବାନ ଏରିଆରେ ଆମେ କୋଉ ଟାଇପ ର ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବୁ ଯାହାକୁ ଆମେ ଅର୍ବାନ ଇକୋନୋମି କହିବୁ। ତ ସେଇଥିରେ ଦେଇଛି the economic study of urban areas as such it involves using the tools of economics to analyze कौन analyze करिवो जेमते कि such as your urban issues such as your crime education public transit housing हेगला local government finance हेगला एई सब जिंस गुडा को analyze करिवो कहा माध्यम रे किछि टूल इकोनॉमिक्स माध्यम रे the economy of each city or town encompasses different sectors while each sector has its specific cities. The fact that their production processes are encompasses within a limited geographical area. Geographical area माने particular गोटे urban area जहाँ की entails करछि interchanges. Urban economy रो characteristics कौन? Characteristics of an urban economics is emphasizes the spatial arrangement of household. गोटे spatial arrangement माने किछि किछि space रे ହେଇଥିବା ଘର household ଏମିତି ନୁହଁ ଯେ କାନ୍ଥ କାନ୍ଥ ଲାଗି ଯାଇଥିବ spatial something related to space. The spatial arrangements of household, firms, and capital in metropolitan areas, the externalities which arise from the proximity of households and land uses, and the public policy issues which arises from the interplay of these economic forces. Function कौन? Function है it applies ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ screen share होची तो hello.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
yes
Yes.
ma'am ହଉ
Okay. Function कौन urban economy रो urban economy रो function है it applies specifically to the economics function of a city जहाँ की जोटा कि आमे कहउछु ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम हे गला ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम of studying your urban economics functions beings by measuring the livelihood structure को आमे गोटे सोसाइटी रे डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ लाइवलीहुड रोचंती जहाँ की हमर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट इकोनॉमिक फंक्शन समस्तंकर हाउस होल्ड रे समस्तंकर लाइवलीहुड रे तो समान न थाए डिफरेंट हाउस होल्ड रे डिफरेंट लाइवलीहुड स्ट्रक्चर थाए जहाँ द्वारा ताको मेजरिंग करा जाए धर सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल एक्स ए रो हाउस होल्ड एंड बी रो हाउस होल्ड रे चेंजेस अछि केमती ए रो हाउस होल्ड रे जी चारि जण जाको माने कि जॉब करचंती किंतु बी रो हाउस होल्ड रे दी जण जाको जॉब करचंती ताहाले कोन ए इज इक्वल टू बी बी तो हबनी काहे कि तांकर लाइवलीहुड स्ट्रक्चर अलगा डिफरेंट आंकर लाइवलीहुड स्ट्रक्चर अलगा आंक घरे ए घरे चारटा गाड़ी अछि बी घरे दीटा गाड़ी अछि तो एइथरे माने इकोनॉमिक्स तारो मेजरिंग करे इकोनॉमिक फंक्शन ता सेकंड हला टू डिटरमाइन द नंबर ऑफ पीपल एम्प्लॉयड इन दिस सिटी हला केते पीपल आमे जति के हाउस होल्ड आमे जति घरे रहुछु धर ए घरे चारि जण अछंती चारि रु चारि समाने एम्प्लॉयड बट बी घरे चारि जण अछंती दी जण एम्प्लॉयड तो ताकू भी सिटी रे केते जण जॉब करछंती सेउडा भी सब टैबुलेट करा जाय सच एज जेमति तमरा कैटेगरीज आसीबो ट्रेड हे गला मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हे गला गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर हे गला ए सब जिंस तापर हला तमरा बेसिक फंक्शन ऑफ द सिटी also called as city forming activities. They involve the manufacturing, processing, or trading of goods, or the providing of services for markets located outside the city's boundaries. Economic function of a city servicing nature are called non-basic function. Economic function of a city servicing nature are called non-basic economic activities. City is a permanent. What a city permanent है. Self-sustaining concentration of people. Service थाए सेठी गवर्नमेंट रो गोटे रूल थाए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव थाए they can serve as single purpose or stand as a massive hub. City is the melting pot for a variety of industry, government, religion, philosophy, education, etc. Most realistically, though major cities have only a few core hooks. In 1950, Gordon attempted to define a city. See, attempt करथिले urban geographer with 10 general metrics. कौन तांको व्यू पॉइंट थिला general metrics गॉर्डन को हिसाब रे. First thing, size and density of the population should be above normal. Differentiation of the occupation of the population. Not all residents grow their own food, leading to specialist. Payment of taxes to a deity or a king. Monumental public buildings. Those not producing their own food are supported by the king. Systems of recording and practical science, a system of writing, development of symbolic art, trade and import of raw material, specialist craftsmen from outside the kin group. Then next ହେଲା ତମର characteristics of the informal sector. Informal sector କଣ? It is a vast and multifaceted realm of economic activity. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by realm? Realm ମାନେ କଣ? Can anyone tell me the meaning of exact meaning of realm of economic activity?
मैम जो पर्टिकुलर एरिया जोटी होतबो से एक्टिविटी रे
Particular area ଆଉ ସେଇଟା that to a vast area ହେଇଥିବ ଯୋଉଠି economic activity ଟା ହଉଥିବ vast area. Realm ମାନେ ସବୁଠୁ ବଡ vast. Realm of economic activity that operate outside the formal regulatory and taxation framework. It encompasses a diverse range of enterprises and employment arrangements, ranging from street vendors and small scale artisans to micro enterprises and informal services provider in professional field. ତାଙ୍କର role କଣ? Informal sector ର role ହେଲା first ହେଲା ତମର diversity. Diversity, the informal sector encompasses a wide spectrum of economic activities, ଯେମିତି catering to a diverse range of needs and demands. It includes everything from street vending and small scale agriculture to informal service provider in construction, transportation and even professional field. Second ହେଲା ତମର unregistered and unregulated. Unregistered and unregulated, informal enterprises typically lack from registration and are not subjected to the same level of regulation as their formal counterparts. This means that they may operate outside of labor laws, tax codes, and other regulatory framework. Third ହେଲା ତମର labor intensive. Labor intensive, the informal sector is characterized by its reliance on labor with a high proportion of workers engaged in manual labor or small scale services. This often translate into long working hours, low wages and limited access to social benefit, easy entry and exit. The informal sector is relatively easy to enter and also easy to exit, requiring minimal capital investment and often lacking formal barrier to entry. This make it attractive to individuals with limited resources and those seeking flexible employment options. Next ହେଲା ତମର adaptability and resilience. Adaptability and resilience ମାନେ କେତିକି ତମର coping capacity ଅଛି. The informal sector has demonstrated remarkable adaptability in the face of economic shocks and downturns. It has shown the ability to adjust to changing market condition and maintain its presence even during times of economic hardship. ଯେତେବେଳେ तमर इकोनॉमिक माने वर्ल्ड रे इकोनॉमिक जेतळे जो कोविड हेइथला हमर कोन इकोनॉमिक डाउन हेइथला सेई समय रे माने केतळे मार्केट भी सेतळे बहुत डाउन रे चलला हमर इकोनॉमिक जीडीपी बहुत ये रहे गला तो सेतळे ए जो मार्केट कंडीशन रो तांको रेजिलेंस केमिति जदी भी ऑल ऑफ सडन ए सब जिंस आसे तो केमिति तमे अडॉप्ट करिवो केमिति तमे कोप करिवो ए सब जिंस रो then next limited access to finance and technology informal enterprises often face challenges one second informal limited access to finance and technology. Informal enterprises often face challenges in accessing formal finance services such as loan and credit. They may also struggle to adopt new technologies due to limited resources and lack of training. Next है तमरो vulnerable to exploitation. माने कि डर मन भितर गोटे भय कि काले हमें एक्सप्लोटेशन ହେଇଯିବ के जिनसटा गोटे माने कि हुएनि कि गोटे जिनस गोटे हाजार्ड जब गोटे हाजार्ड आसिया पूर्व मन गोटे भयटा थाए vulnerable सेटा vulnerable to exploitation. Informal workers are often more vulnerable to exploitation and abuse due to their lack of formal employment contracts and social protection. They may face issues such as low wages, unsafe working condition, and limited bargaining power. Next है तमरो contribution to national output. कौन contribution? Despite its informal nature, the informal sector plays a significant role in the economy of many countries because it contributing the sustainability to national output and employment. It provides the livelihood options for millions of individuals and serves as a vital source of goods and services. एटा थिला यूनिट 2 रो जति के मु पाइली सते करिछि नेक्स्ट मु जेतले स्टडी मटेरियल ता देखिबे ता धरे कोन कोन अछि सेटा मु करबी एटा फर्स्ट चैप्टर रो सेंट्रल आई हैव स्किप yesterday class central place theory and growth pole theory and some of this I have to discuss today. Central place theory आगरु के पढ़िछो जानिछो ना this is your first time you have to study.
Madam, first time.
Before you have been first time. Okay. Central place theory. It is an important. आउ एटा मु कहि परबी कि 100 to 99% मु माने कि क्वेश्चन आसी पारे जति कि मु भाबुची एटा उटे important अछि सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी आरो किछि भी प्रिंसिपल को एक्सप्लेन करिया पे एग्जाम रे देई पारंती तो मु ए पीपीटी रे पूरा सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी रो each and every bit I have mentioned in that ppt. Even you read in that ppt you can access all these answer तमे एक्सेस कर परिबो सब आंसर गुडा जहां भी सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी रा आसीबो. Central place theory. Walter Christaller proposed the central place theory in 1933. एटा यूजीसी नेट रे भी आसे क्वेश्चन तो क्रिस्टलर ताकू जनरल आमे वॉल्टर क्रिस्टलर तो नो सरनेम रे आमे क्रिस्टलर कहू. Christaller proposed the central place theory in 1933 and it is one of the most widely accepted theories for explaining the spatial arrangements, hierarchy and distribution of human settlement. In 1932, Christaller completed his dissertation titled The Structure of Settlement in Southern Germany. এই जो क्रिस्टलर माने এই जो सेंट्रल प्लेस थियोरीटा एटा स्टडी एरियाटा तांकर हेइतला साउदर्न जर्मनी रो. The theory seeks to understand the evolution of hierarchical pattern. हला केमिति आरो हायरार्की पैटर्न गुडा को से इवोल्यूशन करके केमिति सेटलमेंट रे रूप रे ताको दौथिले ऑन द नंबर ऑफ सेटलमेंट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पॉपुलेशन एंड डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द सेटलमेंट पॉपुलेशन रो सेटलमेंट कोटे अछि सेटा सेटलमेंट कोटे अछि आउ तांकर डिस्टेंस केते बाट सिटी रु केते बाट मार्केट टाउन रु केते बाट विलेज रु केते बाट तो से गोटे हायरार्किकल प्रोसेस टा करिले डायग्राम समस्त देखि पाउछो डायग्राम समस्त देखि पाउछंती क्रिस्टलर रो हेलो
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ तो सेइथरे जोटा रेड दिया है सेटा as for क्रिस्टलर से रेड मार्किंग टा से सिटी सेठी रखिले तो सिटी रखिले जति कि सब ऑरेंज कलर अछि तो से स्कैटर्ड कर देले जदि सिटी सेठी हबो सेतिक डिस्टेंस रे से चारिटा प्लेस रे टाउन को रखिले देन टाउन को रिलेटेड गोटे टाउन को जदि सराउंडिंग करबो मार्केट टाउन हेतिबा दरकार तो मार्केट टाउन भी 6टा प्लेस रे समते मार्केट टाउन हैला तो मार्केट टाउन आउट टाउन भितरे छोट छोट विलेजेस गुडा थाए आउ सेउडा सब जो ब्लैक कलर अछि सेउडा सब बाउंड्री लाइन फीचर्स ऑफ सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी कौन फीचर्स अछि क्रिस्टलर रिसर्च इनटू सेटलमेंट पैटर्न एटा बेसिकली क्रिस्टलर तमरो ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट पैटर्न ऊपर ही रिसर्च करथिले कोठी करथिले साउदर्न जर्मनी रे he discovered that there is some sort of relationship between distribution, size, and number of settlement. He named this law spatial economic geographical law or the law of the geography of settlements. His study looked at the connection between the settlement of varying size and how their economic activity influenced the people. The relationship between size, number, geographic distribution of cities is described by the central place theory. The major function of central place is to deliver goods and services to the surrounding inhabitants. Major function कौन मन रहिला what major function कौन central place रो is to deliver goods and services. Goods and services रे बाबू खाली पनीपरिया नुह सबु जिंस to the surrounding inhabitants. Christeller explained why the highest order settlement has very specific and distinct activities, and such activities can only be provided by the highest order of settlement. In Christeller model, each settlement is
Madam,
situated
highest
in
order
the
settlement
center.
है।
हाँ कौन है
मैडम जो हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर सेटलमेंट से स्टेटमेंट हम जानी पहले
हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर जोटा कि अछि हमरो एक्सप्लेन दी भाई दी हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर सेट एटा हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर टा हमरो जो ए जो मझिरे जो सिटी टा अछि आउ ता चारि पखे जोटा टाउन अछि सेटा हाईएस्ट लोएस्ट ऑर्डर जेति कि तमे पेरीफेरी आडू को जिवो सेडा सब लोएस्ट हाईएस्ट ता सदाले मझिरे रहइबो धीरे 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 हाईएस्ट टू लोएस्ट पछु को जिवो हला सिटी आ तरफ जो पेरीफेरी टाउन्स गुडा अछि सेटा हमरो हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर इन
मैम तमाने
क्रिस्टलर मॉडर्न हाँ कुह
मैम तमाने हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर रे माने जते अधिक एरिया को से सर्विस प्रोवाइड करथबो
हाँ हाँ हाँ
ओके
हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर रे माने कोन तमरो हाईएस्ट तमरो जति कि सब जो माने कि जो सिटी रे सिटी भितरे तो एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड नाही ना सेडा सब कोठी गां एरिया रे हबो विलेज एरिया रे जोटा कि तमरो ब्लू रंगर छोट छोट थिला टाउन को घेरी की रहिथिले जति कि सब टाउन ना सिटी को घेरी की गोटे सेकंड हाँ
मैम
तमरो
गोटे
मार्केट
मिनट
टाउन को
ए जो मैडम ए गोटे चीज माने डाउट रहउची ए चित्रटा हेक्सागोनल काहे हेची यदि
हाँ
हेक्सागोनल ले हाईएस्ट
हाँ
ऑर्डर 7 बन जाई परिबो
अच्छी तळुक अच्छी तार अच्छी K3 प्रिंसिपल अच्छी K4 प्रिंसिपल अच्छी K7 प्रिंसिपल अच्छी ସେଇଟା ତାଙ୍କର ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ରେ ଏଇ ପାଇଁ କରାହେଇଥିଲା K3 ହେଲା ତମର ମାର୍କେଟ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ K4 ହେଲା ତମର ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ K7 ହେଲା ତମର ଆଡମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଟିଭ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ହେଲା ତାର ଅଛି ତଳକୁ ମୁଁ ପଢେଇବି ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରିବି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ବେଟର ଯୋଉଟା ମାନେ କି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଯୋଉଟା କି ବୁଝିଲା ପରିକା ହେଇପାରେ ସେମିତି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଶୋ କରିବି ହେଲା।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
His studies looked at the connection କାହିଁକି ଏଇଟା ବହୁତ important crystal ବହୁତ ସଦାବେଳେ ହିଁ ଆସେ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ମେ ବି ଏଇଟା ଯେମିତି କି ଆସିପାରେ ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ explain the crystallar theory of K3 principle or K9 principle K7 principle ଆଉ ସେମାନେ କହିପାରିବେ କି ତାଙ୍କର କଣ function ଅଛି crystallar discuss the crystallar theory ମାନେ crystal central place theory by crystallar तो डिस्कस कले पूरा स्टार्टिंग रू लिखिबो केबेटु केबे तांकर कोन एम थिला गोल थिला को ऊपर रिसर्च करथिले को एरिया थिला हायरार्की कोन से माने यूज करथिले एडा सब डिटेल्स लिखिबो अकॉर्डिंग टू मार्क केते मार्क रो आसबो वेरीज करची एटा तो लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन रे आसे प्राय आइदर 10 मार्क्स रो आसबो कि 15 मार्क्स मु जानिनी केमते एग्जाम पैटर्न तो अकॉर्डिंग सेही बळिया आसी पारे His study looked at the connection between settlement of varying size and how their economic activity influenced the people. The relationship between the size, number, and geographic distribution of cities is described by central place theory. The major function of the central place is to deliver goods and services. এটা বোধহয় পড়িଥିଲି হাই স্টোরিটা পড়ি দিয়েছিলি In crystallar model, each settlement is situated in the center of the region that it serves. Logically, this should result in a circular complementary region. ମାନେ ସିଏ ଯୋଉ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ପ୍ୟାଟର୍ନ ଟା କଲେ ଧର ମଝିରେ ସିଟିଟା ଅଛି ତାର ଚାରିଟା ପେରିଫେରୀରେ ସିଏ କଣ କରିଛି ଟାଉନ ରଖିଛି ତ ସିଏ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ମଡେଲଟା ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ କଲେ ଧର ସିଟିରୁ ଟାଉନ ଆଉ ଟାଉନ ର ଯୋଉ ଛଅଟା ଯୋଉ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ସେଇଠି ସ୍ମଲ ସ୍ମଲ ତମର ଭିଲେଜେସ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଭିଲେଜେସ୍ ହେଲା ବେଳକୁ ସେମାନେ ଇଜିଲି ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଏକ୍ସେସ୍ କରିପାରିବେ ହେଲା ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା ସେଇଠି ସବୁ ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଜାଗାରେ ଅଛି ତାକି ସେମାନେ ଇଜିଲି ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡା ଏକ୍ସେସ୍ କରିପାରିବେ ସେଇ ହିସାବରେ ସିଏ ଗୋଟେ ମଡେଲଟା ଯୋଉଟା କଲେ ସେଟା ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ଟାଇପ ର କଲେ କି ସମସ୍ତେ ଏକ୍ସେସ୍ କରିପାରିବେ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ if the threshold for customer who shop in hardware store is 50 miles then according to crystallar assumption it would be on a flat plane we should be able to find hardware store in center located 50 miles apart even after decades the central place theory remain important and serve as the foundation for a variety of modern urban planning theories crystallar assumptions कौन थिला तांकर assumptions थिला first assumption କହୁଛି ତାଙ୍କର ତ ଯୋଉ ସେ ଯୋଉ assumption କରିଥିଲେ ସେ ଯୋଉ theory କରିଥିଲେ ସେଇଟା ମାନେ କି easy to understand ମାନେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଯେମିତି ଯୋଉ ଯୋଉ ସବୁ ଲୋକ ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କେମିତି easy to understand ହବ ଆଉ ସେମାନେ explain କରିପାରିବେ ଠିକ ରେ ତାଙ୍କର structure of settlement କେମିତି ଆଉ ସେ settlement ର growth କେମିତି development of town ମାନେ କି କୋଉ rate ରେ ହଉଛି human behavior କେମିତି and fundamentals of economics ତ ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ assumptions base ଥିଲା ଏଇ ସବୁ study କୁ ନେଇକି ପ୍ରଥମ assumption ଥିଲା a flat surface means a mountainous and uneven terrain makes development difficult mountain area ଆଉ ମାନେ ଟିକେ ଟାପୁ hill trap type ର ଥିବ ସେମିତିରେ ତ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା develop କରିପାରିବନି ତ ସେଇ ଜାଗାରେ ଏଇଟା ବହୁତ difficult ଥିଲା therefore a flat place that encourage town growth is ideal ଗୋଟେ ଟାଉନ କୁ ଗ୍ରୋଥ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସିଏ ଫ୍ଲାଟ ସରଫେସ ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ ରେ ହିଁ ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ କି ଟାଉନ ଟା ଯଦି ଏଇଠି ଗ୍ରୋ କରିବ ତାହେଲେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଇଜିଲି ଏକ୍ସେସ ହବ ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଥିଲା ସେଇ ହିସାବରେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଇଜି ଏକ୍ସେସ ହବ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ assumption ଥିଲା the population is evenly distributed citizens are not concentrated in one location and there is no preference for one town over another citizen ମାନେ କଣ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଥିଲା ଯେ population evenly distributed ହେଇଥିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏମିତି କୌଣସି ଜାଗାରେ ତ ନୁହଁ ଯେ population evenly distributed ହେଇଥିବେ ଧର suppose ଏ କଟକରେ ଯେତିକି population distributed ହେଇଛନ୍ତି ସେତିକି କଣ ନଖରାରେ distributed ହେଇଛନ୍ତି କି ଗୋଟେ settlement ଆମେ ବାହାର କରିକି ଦେଖିବୁ ସେଟା ସବୁ unevenly ନା ସେଟା evenly distributed ହେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ତ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ no preference for one town over another evenly dispersed resources ମାନେ କଣ no location has a resource advantage. All location will complete under ideal market condition. तापर इवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड परचेसिंग पावर कौन जमते कि वेल्थ हेगला तमर पीपल एंड रिसोर्सेस इज स्प्रेड इवनली एज अ रिजल्ट पीपल परचेसिंग पावर इज कंपेरेबल सी तांकर जो माने कि रिसर्च ता करिथिले कि एमती सब लोकन को इजीली परचेसिंग पावर धर गोटे गाँ रे एपड़ साइड रे भी सी तो हेक्सागोनल टाइप करछन्ती ना जदि सेपड़ कोणरे थाई कि लोक सेतिकी 50 माइल्स आसिकी सिटी रु सेई जिनस एक्सेस कर पाला फ्रॉम द नॉर्दर्न साइड तो साउदर्न साइड रु भी गोटे विलेज रु लोक जाई कि सेतिक डिस्टेंस रे से जिनसटा एक्सेस कर परिबो एमिति न हो जे जणको 100 किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस पड़छि फॉर एग्जांपल कहूछि 100 किलोमीटर से आस्ति गोटे जिनस को एक्सेस करिया पई आउ जणको 500 किलोमीटर पड़छि एक्सेस करिया पई से जिनस तांको पई समस्त से इवनली जेंति सब जिनस ओडा purchasing କରିପାରିବେ people will buy things from the nearest market in order to avoid a long commute and price will remain consistent equal transportation cost the cost incurred in transporting goods is equal for all and is proportional to the distance perfect competition price is determined by demand and supply in perfect competition people will buy at the lowest price available on the market. तापर हला what can be concluded from assumption से जो assumption कहले क्रिस्टल तादर conclusion कौन भला कौन concluded कले से when these assumptions are integrated the result is a location that provides a variety of services people enjoy the ideal market in this location and buy from the nearby shop to save money and time से जो प्रकार मॉडल कले समस्त को इक्वल हे गला जे कोनसी साइड रे लोक रहिले समस्त को कम डिस्टेंस रे सब जिंस एक्सेस हे गला तो तांको पई गोटे आइडल मार्केट भी हे गला तांको पई मनी भी सेव हे गला तांको पई टाइम भी सेव हे गला The population threshold influences where various services are situated. The bare minimum of people is required to keep that service or activity running. तापर हला तमरो main derivatives of central place theory. Central place theory रा कौन main derivatives थिला? In central place theory is based on several fundamental concepts. कौन concept थिला? First है तमर central place. Central place माने it is the settlement that serve other settlement of the lower hierarchy. Central place हमर की हला मझीटा हमर कोन थिला city थिला मझीटा से जो रेड कलर टा city थिला तो सेटा हला हमर central place. तो सीए सर्व कोन करिवो कोठी ना lower hierarchy को सर्व करे. Complementary area कौन it is the hinterland कोटा periphery जोटा कि सेंटर periphery area को center place को आसे center place रे जंती vegetables हे गला तमर perishable goods हे गला जंती fruits हे गला vegetables flowers ए सब जिंसटा hinterland रो आसे that region served by the central place तापर हला तमर centrality कौन it is the surplus or the ratio between goods and services offered. Greater centrality means greater the number of services and their surplus. It is the force of attraction or the potentiality to serve. आंकर मझिरे गोटे अछि threshold and range और threshold डायग्राम देखाउची समस्त विजिबल होची के डायग्राम
Yes, ma'am.
तो एटा रेंज एंड थ्रेशोल्ड जोटा मझी पॉइंट रे जोठी कि सेंटर अछि रेंज टा हला केते डिस्टेंस माने कि तमरो जोटा लास्ट हायरार्की थिबो लोअर हायरार्की सेउठू सेंटर जाय केते रेंज मैक्सिमम रेंज थ्रेशोल्ड कोन the minimum population required for a service to be feasible in a given location if this threshold is not met a specific activity will not begin or will be terminated. Range रे कौन अच्छी range रे तमरा this is the maximum distance a consumer will travel to buy product or receive service Consumers will not travel beyond this distance since the cost of the goods and service will outweigh the value. Functional rules of central place. कौन functional rule जोटा कुहाउतला hierarchical level. A number of hierarchical levels shall be optimum for which a maximum number of functions must be accumulated in the central place. कौन? The size of the complementary area shall be hexagonal because କାହିଁକି ସେ जो complementary area shall be hexagonal ଏଇଠି ତମେ ଦେଖି ପାରୁଥିବ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଟା ଯୋଉଟା ଅଛି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ରେ ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ପ୍ଲେସ ସେଇଟା କାହିଁକି ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ହେଇଛି ପ୍ରଥମଟା କାହିଁକି ଅନରିଜର୍ଭଡ ଏରିଆ ଅଛି ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଟା କାହିଁକି ଓଭରଲାପିଂ ହେଇଛି ସେଟା ଏଇ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ରେ କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ଶୋ ହଉଛି ଯୋଉଟା କି ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉଟା ଅନରିଜର୍ଭଡ ଏରିଆ ସପୋଜ ଆମେ सर्कल କରିବୁ सर्कल କରିକି ଯଦି ଆମେ सर्कल କରିବୁ ସେ ସବୁ ଗ୍ୟାପ ଗୁଡା ରହୁଛି ଅନରିଜର୍ଭଡ ଏରିଆ ତ ସେଇଥିରେ କଣ ଅଧିକ ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ କୋଉଠି କମ ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ ଏମିତି ସବୁ ମେଜର ହେଲା ଆଉ ଓଭରଲାପିଂ ଏରିଆରେ ଇଏ ମାନେ କି କଣ ଏଇ ଜାଗାଟା ତା ଉପରେ ଓଭରଲାପ କରିଗଲା ସେଇ ଜାଗାଟା ତା ଉପରେ ଓଭରଲାପ କରିବା କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ପ୍ଲେସ ରେ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ଟାଇପ ରେ ହେଇଛି ସେଇଟା ମାନେ କି ପୁରା କ୍ଲୋଜେଷ୍ଟ ସବୁକୁ ପାଖ ହେଇପାରିବ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷକୁ ପାଖ ଏକ୍ସେସ ହେଇପାରିବ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଏମାନେ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ରେ କ୍ରିଷ୍ଟାଲର ଏଇ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା କଲେ they are the closest approximation to a circle ହେଲା circle to hexagonal ମାନେ କି ଇଏରେ କଲେ ସେଟା ପାଖ ହବ they pack the surface circle as a complementary area will either over serve or under serve or leave certain parts unreserved thus the functional assumption of theory are the number of larger settlement is few while the number of smaller settlement is many ହେଲା larger settlement बहुत कम थांती according to smaller settlement as the settlement size increases its range and functionally increases ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଯଦି ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ସାଇଜ ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ତାହେଲେ ରେଞ୍ଜ ବି ଅଟୋମେଟିକ ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ଧର ଆମର ଏଇଖାନା ପପୁଲେସନ within the radius ଆମର 5 କିଲୋମିଟର ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନଉଛି 5 କିଲୋମିଟର ରେଡିୟସ ଭିତରେ ଆମର ପପୁଲେସନ ରହୁଛି ସେଇଟା ତ ସଦାବେଳେ ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ସାଇଜ ଟା ରହିବନି ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ସାଇଜ ତ ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପପୁଲେସନ ସାଇଜ ଯଦି ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ସାଇଜ ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ତ ଅଟୋମେଟିକାଲି ରେଞ୍ଜ ବି ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବ ରେଞ୍ଜ ଯଦି ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କଲା ସେଇ ହିସାବରେ ପୁଣି ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ କରି କରି ସେମିତି ଯିବ ଇନକ୍ରିଜ ହବ As the settlement size increases, it provides high order services and specialized services. Higher the specialty, the more the range. Next ହେଲା ତମର principle of central place theory. ଏଇଟା ବି ଆସିପାରେ ମାନେ exam ରେ principle of explain the principle of central place theory. Crystallar theory provides three principles. The marketing principle, the transportation principle, and the administrative principle for the ordered arrangement and the formation of hierarchy. Marketing principle कौन तमरो? Marketing principle हला if the distribution is dependent on the range of the goods and services, then it would result in evenly spaced central place with hexagonal market. ଯଦି ଆମର ଯୋଉ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି goods and services ସେଇଟା ଯଦି ଆମର ବରାବର evenly distributed ହେଇ ପାରୁଥିବ dependent ହେଇକି distribution ହେଇ ପାରୁଥିବ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ through the central place with a hexagonal market तो तांकु से market principle बोली कहला traffic principle टा कौन if any central place is smaller in size than expected then it will be because of lower accessibility and vice versa ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ଯେମିତି କି suppose example ନଉଛି ନିମାପଡା ନିମାପଡା ଗୋଟେ ଟାଉନ ଠିକ ଅଛି ନିମାପଡା ନେଇଗଲି ପିପିଲି ଗୋଟେ ନେଇଗଲି ଠିକ ଅଛି ନିମାପଡା ଆଉ ପିପିଲି ଭିତରେ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଅଛି କଣ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଅଛି ଧର ସରି ପୁରୀ ନେଲି ଆଉ ପିପିଲି ନେଲି ପୁରୀଟା ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ସିଟି ହେଲା ठीक अच्छी पुरीटा आमर जो सिटी है निमापड़ाटा आमर कौन है तार लोयर ऑर्डर हायरार्की है निमापड़ा केतले एमती भी देखि को जगह माने सिटी गुड़ा बेसी एक्सपैंड करंतनी कहीं करंतनी एक्सपैंड कहीं कि सेट देखिबो गोटे गोटे एमती जगह थाए कि सेठी एक्सेसिबल बाई बेसी किछि न थाए माने कि धर गोटे सिटी को लोक कहीं गाँव रु गोटे सिटी को सदाळे कि मूव करा पई चाहउछन कहीं एठी स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग बहुत भलो आ फैसिलिटीज बहुत भलो धर गोटे एग्जांपल नेली गोटे एक्स टाउन जोठी की अच्छी सेटा टाउन रे जीव जेहेतु तार पॉपुलेशन अधिक अच्छी तार पॉपुलेशन साइज जेतले अधिक अच्छी सेटा टाउन रे गणा हबो बट से जगह को किछि एते एक्सेसिबिलिटीज नहीं आउ जहा द्वारा तार जो पेरिफेरी रे हेक्सागोनल जेतिक सब विलेजेस रहिले टाउन रहिले तांकु भी बहुत कम एक्सेस है सबू जिनस सेटा है ट्रांसपोर्ट प्रिंसिपल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव प्रिंसिपल रे कौन spacing and sizing of central places are also determined on the basis of socio-political consideration. The different layouts predicted by Christaller have के values ये कौन कले जो क्रिस्टलर ए जो तीनटा प्रिंसिपल अछि ताकू गोटे values देले ताकू से के values देले which show से के value कौन शो कला the sphere of influence of the central place हैला से जो गोटे गोटे हेक्सागोनल रो स्पीयर को सी इन्फ्लुएंस करले सेंट्रल प्लेस रो स्पीयर को इन्फ्लुएंस करले से मार्केट प्रिंसिपल को से देले K3 it is based on the marketing the central place will serve 1/3 of the population demanding goods and services and 1/3 of the geographical area of the settlement of the lower hierarchy. It means for marketing services, third of the population of the block level town will move to district headquarter because the latter has a higher order of goods and services. ହେଲା କାହିଁକି ସେମାନେ ଗଲେ डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर्स को ब्लॉक लेवल टाउन କାହିଁକି ଯେହେତୁ ହାୟର ଅର୍ଡର ଟା ତମର डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर ରହିଲା गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज ତାଙ୍କୁ इजीली एक्सेस ହେଲା ସେଇଠି ଭଲ गुड्स एंड सर्विस ତ ସେଇଟା हायर ऑर्डर रु माने लोअर ऑर्डर रु हायर ऑर्डर शिफ्ट है मार्केट टा द लोअर ऑर्डर सेंट्रल प्लेस आर लोकेटेड एट द वर्टेक्स ऑफ द हेक्सागोनल गोटे सेंट्रल प्लेस टा लोअर ऑर्डर टा कोठी से लोकेटेड हेतो वर्टेक्स रे जो हेक्सागोनल डायग्राम टा हेची एई डायग्राम टा को गोटे देइछि मार्केटिंग प्रिंसिपल रे जोटा कि 3 नंबर लेखा हेची माने से हेक्सागोन छोटो छोट गोटे बड़ हेक्सागोनल हबो ता भीतर गोटे सिटी हबो सेही हेक्सागोनल हेई सला परे पुनी गोटे गोटे जो बुलेट पॉइंट अछि गोटे गोटे कॉर्नर रे अछि ताको भी छोटो छोटो हेक्सागोनल करा हबो जोटा 3 लेखा हेछि सेउडा सब मार्केट प्रिंसिपल गुडा lower order settlement should be located as close as possible to higher order settlement to minimize the distance travel. One is a higher order settlement, two is a lower order settlement, whereas two is a higher order settlement for three, which is a lower order settlement. बुझा पड़ला एक नंबर जोटा अच्छी सेटा हला हायर ऑर्डर ऑफ सेटलमेंट दुई नंबर जोटा अच्छी टू इज ए लोअर ऑर्डर में सेटलमेंट दुई लोअर ऑर्डर सेटलमेंट किंतु से जो दुई लोअर ऑर्डर सेटलमेंट अच्छी सेटा तीन पाई थ्री व्हिच इज ए लोअर ऑर्डर तीन पाई सॉरी दुई तो लोअर ऑर्डर रहिला एक पाई तापरे दुई इज ए हायर ऑर्डर सेटलमेंट फॉर थ्री व्हिच इज ए लोअर एक दुई तीन हियर टू दुई नंबर जोटा अच्छी two lower order settlement will be located around a higher order settlement. दुई नंबर टा जो लोअर ऑर्डर सेटलमेंट सेटा सदा बळे 3 नंबर सेटलमेंट पाखा पाखी ही थिबो काहेकि कि 3 नंबर सेटलमेंट पई हायर हायरार्की हला 2 नंबर तो सीए दुईटा सदाबले 3 पाखरे ही थिबो, such as 2 around 1, 3 around 2. If A is the area of the higher order complementary area and A is the complementary area of the next lower level central place, then A equal to 6 into 1 by third A. ହେଲା ସେ ହେଲେ 2A plus A, that is higher order settlement. ସେଇଟା ହେଲେ ତମର 3 ବାହାରିଲା, 3A equal to 3K ତାକୁ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ କରିକି ବାହାର କରାଯାଇଛି ଆଉ। ଏଇଟା ତମେ ମାନେ ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ରେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ତାର କାଲକୁଲେସନ ଟା ଅଛି ଏଇଥିରେ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ରେ ବୁଝିବାକୁ ପଡିବ। ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ଏଇଟା ପୁରା ମାନେ କି କଣ କହିଲ ଭାଷ୍ଟ, ସିଏ ଯୋଉ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ କରିଛି ମାନେ କି ମଝିରେ ସେଣ୍ଟର ଟା ଦେଇକି 7ଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ 1 2 3 4 5 6ଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ କରିଛି। ସେ ଇଚ୍ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ରେ ଗୋଟେ 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 ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ହବ। ପୁଣି ସେଇ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ରୁ ଆହୁରି ଛୋଟ 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 ହବ। ଦେନ୍ ଏଗୁଡା ବଡ ବଡ କରିକି ଏପଟକୁ ଏକ୍ସପାଣ୍ଡ ବି କରିବ, ସେପଟୁ ବି ଏକ୍ସପାଣ୍ଡ କରିବ। ଦେନ୍ ନେକ୍ସଟ ହେଲା ତମର ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ଅର ଟ୍ରାଫିକ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ, ତାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ K4. On the basis of the traffic principle, a central place will capture 1/2 of the population demanding such services. The transportation line must connect the maximum number of settlement to provide the most efficient services. Here, 3 lower order settlement will be placed around a higher order settlement. Total 4 hierarchical levels such as 2 around 1, 3 around 2, so on. If A is the area of the higher order complementary area and small a is the complementary area of the next lower level. ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ ଯାହାକୁ ବୁଝା ପଡୁନି ସେ ଟିକେ ଆଜି ଯାଇକି କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ଟିକେ ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ କି ଇଏରେ ଦେଖିବେ। ସେ ଯୋଉ 7K ଟା ମାନେ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ବେସିକାଲି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ଟା ଦେଖିବେ, ସେଟା କେମିତି କ୍ରସ୍ କରାହେଇଛି, କେମିତି ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ ହେଇଛି, କୋଉଟା K3 କେତେରୁ କେତେ ଭାଗ କରାହେଇଛି, ତାକୁ 6ଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ ରୁ କେମିତି ପୁଣି ଆଉଥରେ ହେକ୍ସାଗୋନାଲ ସାଇଡ କରାହେଇଛି ସେଇଟା ଦେଖିବ। K3, K4, K7 ଏଇ 3ଟା ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ବହୁତ ହି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ, ଆକୁ ଦେଖିବେ। Administrative principle ହେଲା last ତମର K7. The central place will serve all the settlement of the lower hierarchy. It develops in area of highly centralized administration. It is a specialist services. To show the irregular administrative boundaries, he captured 1/7 of the neighboring hexagon and left out of 1/7 of its own complementary area. ତାହେଲେ ସେଇଥିରେ ତାଙ୍କର 6ଟା lower order settlement will be placed around a settlement of the higher order. Total 7 hierarchical level such as 2 around 1, 3 around 2, something ki 4 around 3 ଆସିବ, then 5 around 4 ଆସିବ, ଏମିତି ହେଇକି 7ଟା ସେ କରିଲେ। ତ ଏଇଟା ତାଙ୍କର K7 ଟା ବାହାରିଲା। नेक्स्ट है तमरा applicability of central place theory on India. एई जो क्रिस्टलर करिले, क्रिस्टलर तो करथिले साउथ जर्मनी रे, तो हमर इंडिया रे सेटा केते परसेंट एप्लीकेबल हला। Applicability of central place theory on India. For the administrative principle, India has almost the same number of hierarchy. It has 6 hierarchical level rather than 7. क्रिस्टलर 7टा कहिथिले हायरार्किकल, किंतु इंडिया रे सेटा 6टा कराउछि। 6टा लेवल इन इंडिया। गोटे हला नेशनल कैपिटल, सेकंड हला स्टेट कैपिटल, थर्ड हला डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर, फोर्थ हला तहसील टाउन, फिफ्थ हला ब्लॉक लेवल, सिक्स्थ हला हमर ग्राम पंचायत लेवल। दिस इज क्लोजेस्ट टू सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरीज assumption. Then ଆମର क्रिस्टलर का क्रिटिसिज्म ଆଉ limitation of central place theory कौन थिला, तांकर criticism कौन कहिथिले। Central place theory is well liked. एटा बहुत पॉपुलर हेथिला से समय रे। ए थियोरी को बहुत कंट्री रे, बहुत जगह रे, प्लेस, सिटी, टाउन रे एप्लीकेबल हेथिला, but it has its own drawbacks. कौन drawbacks थिला? This assumption include those that are unrealistic and faulty. it's nearly impossible to have a very large flatland, hala, idle marketplace, and no preference for shopping areas. The modern economy is a capitalist economy, but the government plays an equal vital role in shaping the market and the placement of activities. Furthermore, resources are never dispersed equitably, and certain people benefit disproportionately. The hexagonal pattern has been criticized because he has neglected linear pattern along rails, road and rivers. Linear pattern कौन ଯେମିତି ଜାଣିଥିବ ତମେ linear settlement ପଢିଥିବ linear settlement जोठी की तमरो railway track side रे जतिक सब settlement हेतिबो से माने कोन सब लंबा लंबा linear type रो settlement रे हेतिबो road side रे देखिबो settlement जोठी river थिबो तार side रे river रो जो बंध side रे settlement हेतिबो तो एईटा से क्रिस्टलर शो करिनाती जोटा की तांकर गोटे limitation. Most scholars think that the central place ranking and hierarchy cannot be applied to all reason. बहुत गुड़े स्कॉलर्स करो थॉट प्रोसेस थिला कि जो हायरार्की सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी करी चंदी क्रिस्टलर सेटा बहुत गुड़े सिटी और रीजन को अप्लाइड न ही पारे. The formula of K3 cannot be applied in all reason. एटा थिला तांकर criticism and limitation. एटा थिला तमरो सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी. नेक्स्ट आमे पढिबा पेरॉक्स एंड बोर्डविल रो ग्रोथ पोल थ्योरी. एटा भी तमरो यूनिट 1 रो अछि. पेरॉक्स एंड बोर्डविल रो कांसेप्ट तार मीनिंग तार हिस्ट्री ग्रोथ पोल थ्योरी टा तापर रैंक साइज रूल अछि प्राइमेट सिटी. स्टार्ट करबी नेक्स्ट ग्रोथ पोल थ्योरी.
Yes, ma'am.
क्रिस्टलर टिके बुझा पड़ला कि नहीं टिके टिके बुझी पारलो कि नहीं क्रिस्टलर टा
मैडम केवल से
ना
जो
टोटली
K3 केमती सेटा टिके जहा रहला एटा क्लियर करा जो परे.
सेटा ना माने कि जस्ट माने कि कोन पई हेइथिला क्रिस्टलर कोन पई करथिले टिके तो किछि तो बुझी पारथिबो ना से विषय रे काहे कि ये करिथिले सेटलमेंट पई करथिले कि समस्त को इजीली एक्सेस हो सब जिंस गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज खाली K3 K4 और K9 टा टिके रहला ना.
आगे
हो
मैडम.
तो नेक्स्ट हमें पढिबु पेरॉक्स एंड बोर्डविल रा कांसेप्ट ऑफ ग्रोथ पोल. Perox and Boudeville were two French economists. These are like French economists who developed the concept of growth pole in 1950s and 1960s. The concept of growth pole was based on the idea that economic growth could be generated by concentrating investment in specific region or cities. ହେଲା ସିଏ ଏଇଟା ଫୋକସ ବେସିକାଲି କରିଥିଲେ ଯେମିତି କି ଆମର ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଗ୍ରୋଥ କେମିତି ହବ କୋଉଥିରୁ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଗ୍ରୋଥ ହବ କିଛି ଇନଭେଷ୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ କିଛି ଜିନିଷ ଆମର ଇଣ୍ଡିଆର ଜିଡିପି କେମିତି ରେଜ କରୁଛି କିଛି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁସନ ତ ହଉଥିବ ନା ତାହେଲେ ଜିଡିପି କେମିତି ରେଜ କରିବ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଗ୍ରୋଥ କେମିତି ହବ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାର କିଛି ଇନଭେଷ୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ ହଉଥିବ କିଛି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁସନ ହଉଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ଯାଇକି ଗୋଟେ ରିଜନ ମାନେ କି କଣ ସେତିକି କ୍ୟାପାବୁଲ ହବ ତାର ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଗ୍ରୋଥ ଟା ସେତିକି ଅଧିକ ହବ. Perox and Vaudeville concept of growth pool is based on that economic growth can be generated by concentrating investment in specific region or cities. The theory proposes that by investing in key sector or industries in a particular region or city, the entire region or city will benefit from increased economic activity and employment opportunities. History कौन थिला the concept of growth pole was first proposed by Francis Perox in 1950. France रो से थिले Perox 1950 रे से first propose करथिले. Perox was a French economist who was interested in understanding the factors that contributed to economic growth. He proposed that economic growth could be generated by concentrating investment in specific region or cities. The concept was further developed by Jean Vaudeville in 1960s. ପ୍ରଥମ କରିଥିଲେ ପେରକ୍ସ ସେ କନସେପ୍ଟ କୁ କିଛି ଡେଭଲପ କରିକି ବଡଭିଲ ପୁଣି 1960s ରେ ପ୍ରପୋଜ କଲେ ସିଏ କଣ ପ୍ରପୋଜ କଲେ that the concentration of investment in growth pole could be used to reduce regional disparities in economic growth. Types कौन दीटा टाइप्स से माने ग्रोथ पोल रखिले देयर आर टू मेन टाइप्स ऑफ ग्रोथ पोल गोटे हैला अर्बन ग्रोथ पोल आ गोटे हैला रूरल ग्रोथ पोल अर्बन ग्रोथ पोल रे कोन हैला अर्बन ग्रोथ पोल रे टिपिकली तमरा लार्ज सिटी और मेट्रोपॉलिटन एरियाज that have a concentration of economic activity and infrastructure एटा तमरा अर्बन ग्रोथ पोल रे आसीबो rural growth poles are typically small towns or villages that have a concentrations of economic activity in a specific sector such as agriculture हेगला तमरा tourism हेगला one example of a growth pole is Silicon Valley which is located in San Francisco Bay Area of California. Silicon Valley is a hub of technology companies and startups and has been a major driver of economic growth in the region. The concentration of technology companies and investment in research and development has created a network effect attracting more businesses and investment to the region. Another example of a growth pole is the tourism industry in Bali, Indonesia. Bali is a rural growth pole with the concentrations of economic activity in the tourism sector, investment in infrastructures and marketing, which has led to a significant increase in tourism in the region because of the creating jobs and driving the economic growth. ଗୋଟେ example ଦେଲି urban growth pole ର ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ example ଦେଲି rural growth pole ର issues कौन one of the issues with the concept of growth pole is that it can lead to regional disparities in economic growth by concentrating investment in specific regions or cities other regions may be left behind and experience slower economic growth additionally growth pole may be susceptible to economic shocks or disruption, which can have a significant impact on the entire region or a city. Finally, the concentration of economic activity in a specific sector, such as industry sector, it can lead to a lack of diversity in the economy in making it more vulnerable to downturns in that sector of industries. ଏତିକି ଥିଲା ତମର ପେରକ୍ସ ଅଫ ଭଡଭିଲ ର ବିଶେଷ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ତାର କଣ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଟା ଦେଇଦବ ଟାଇପ୍ସ କହିଦବ କଣ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ଯଦି ଆସିଲା ଏକ୍ସାମ ରେ ମୁଁ ବାକି ତକ ଦେଖିବି କଣ ଅଛି ବହିରେ ତମ ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ରେ ଦ ନେକ୍ସଟ ୱାନ୍ ଇଜ योर अर्बन मॉर्फोलॉजी अर्बन मॉर्फोलॉजी रे बोधे अर्बन मॉर्फोलॉजी रो स्लाइड्स गुड़ा टिके चेंज ହେଇଛି एक्चुअली अर्बन मॉर्फोलॉजी ପରେ ତମର ଲुइस ମଫୋର୍ଡ ର କ୍ଲାସିଫିକେସନ ଆସିଥାନ୍ତା ତାପରେ ରैंक ସାଇଜ रूल ଆଉ प्राइमेट सिटी ମୁଁ ଦିଟା ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ସ କରିକି ତାପରେ ଭାବୁଛି ବୋଧେ प्राइमेट सिटी ଟା କରିଦେଇଛି ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି ମୁଁ प्राइमेट सिटी ଟା ପଢେଇ ଦଉଛି ଦେନ୍ ମୁଁ अर्बन मॉर्फोलॉजी କୁ ଆସିବି प्राइमेट सिटी कौन प्राइमेट माने कौन primate is refers to a dominant city in a country or in a region the concept of the primate city refers to the dominant city in a country or region that is significantly larger than any other urban center Primate cities are characterized by high levels of economic and political power as well as cultural significance. This concept was first introduced by the geographer Mark Jefferson in 1939. एटा मन रखिथिबो Mark Jefferson primate city को introduce करथिले in 1939. Types कोन? There are four types of primate city. Three types of primate city. First one is the political primate cities. Political primate cities, these are the primate cities that serve as the political center of a country or a region. For example, include Paris, France, and Mexico City, Mexico. Eta hala political primate city. Second hala economic primate city re. These are the primate city that serve as economic center of a country or a region. For example, Tokyo in Japan and New York City in USA. Cultural primate city kono? These are the primate city that serve as a cultural center of a country or a region. For example, London, England रे ଆଉ Cairo, Egypt रे. Primate city ର ଗୋଟେ in Latin America with a population of over 21 million people. ତାପରେ next ହେଲା ତମର rank size rule. Rank size rule କଣ? Rank size rule is a concept in urban morphology that describes the relationship between population size of urban settlement in a region or a country. Rank size rule ର basically कौन काम थाए से जानिया ପାଇଁ चाहे population size केते urban settlement रे हला urban settlement रे population size केते गोटे urban settlement रे गोटे particular से region ही पड़थाओ कि particular गोटे country ही पड़थाओ. According to the rank size rule, the population of any given urban settlement is inversely proportional to its rank in the hierarchy of settlement. This means that the largest settlement in a region or country will have a population that is double that of the second largest settlement, and so on. The rank size rule was first introduced by the geographer George Gipp in 1949. In the US, the largest city is New York City, has a population that is more than twice as large as the second largest city, Los Angeles, in accordance with the rank size rule. कौन issues primate city और rank size rule रो? चारिटा issues अच्छी. First हला economic disparities. Economic disparities mean the dominance of primate city can lead to economic disparities between urban centers and between urban and rural areas, as well as between different urban centers. Political instability of the concentration of economic and political power in primate city can lead to political instability and social tension. Environmental concern, urban centers, including primate city, can have a significant impact on the environment through activities such as transportation, construction, and waste management. ତାପରେ ତମର ହବ social isolation. Social isolation ରେ କଣ ହବ? In urban center, including primate city, can be socially isolated with limited access to services and amenities such as healthcare, education, and cultural institution. Then next पढ़िबा ଆମେ urban morphology. Urban morphology माने कौन? Maybe a short type ro definition ଆସିପାରେ primate city rank size rule कौन, urban morphology कौन. Urban morphology mane it is the study of the physical and spatial characteristics of urban areas. This includes the layout of the streets, building, distribution of land uses, and the patterns of social and economic activity within the urban area. The study of urban area can be traced back to the early 20th century when urbanization became a prominent feature of economic and social development. The concept of the primacity and rank size rule emerged in the mid 20th century as scholars sought to understand the patterns and dynamics of the urban growth and urbanization. Next ହେଲା ତମର ଲୁଇସ୍ ମମଫୋର୍ଡ ର ସିଟି କ୍ଲାସିଫିକେସନ। ସିଏ ଗୋଟେ ବୁକ୍ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ ସିଟିଜ ଇନ୍ ଏ ବୁକ୍। ଟାଇଟଲ ଥିଲା ବୁକ୍ ର ଦ କଲଚର ଅଫ ଦି ସିଟିଜ ଇନ୍ 1938। ସେଟା କିଏ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ? ଲୁଇସ୍ ମମଫୋର୍ଡ। He chose the following qualitative characteristics for explaining different stages of a city growth. ଗୋଟେ ସିଟିର ଗ୍ରୋଥ ହବା ପାଇଁ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟେଜେସ୍ ଦରକାର। କଣ କଣ ଷ୍ଟେଜେସ୍ ସେ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ କରିଥିଲେ। ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା means of livelihood. It refers to the ways of earning livelihoods. This means change as the city progresses. It means that economic activity and profession change as the size of a settlement change. For instance, the people in small settlement practice in agriculture, hunting, gathering, whereas people in the large settlement practice in manufacturing and trading sector. Second ହେଲା ତମର spatial interaction. Spatial interaction କଣ? This parameter implies the socio-economic interaction between different settlement. कौन कौन settlement units that is तमरो village ହେଇଗଲା, town ହେଇଗଲା, cities ହେଇଗଲା. Through spatial interaction, this unit helps the growth and operation of social and economic function. Social hierarchy कौन? Social hierarchy रे with the growth of the city size and economy. ग्रोथ जो प्रकार हबो सिटी रो साइज रे ग्रोथ ହେଲା ମାନେ तार इकोनॉमिक भी डेवलपमेंट हबो डिफरेंट सोशियो इकोनॉमिक क्लासेस ऑफ रेसिडेंट्स emerge that is गोटे जेमति कि तमर एलाइड ग्रुप हे गेला रिच ग्रुप हे गेला मिडिल क्लास हे गेला पोर एक्सेट्रा these classes live in different parts of the city which indicates spatial segregation हुएनि कि गां गहळी रे भी तमे एखणा कोन से विलेज को पळेबो स्पेशली सेग्रीगेशन ହେଇଛି कि नहीं क्लासेस अकॉर्डिंग टू क्लासेस सिटी रे सिना तमे एखणा माने कि पाइबनी किंतु विलेज टिके तमे टाउन को भी पळेबो ସବୁ ସେମିତି ହେଇଛି कि नहीं सेटलमेंट स्पेशल सेग्रीगेशन ହେଇଛି कि नहीं किए देखिचंती कि नहीं सुनिचो ना देखिचो
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
तो ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ social hierarchy ବି ରହୁଛି social cohesion ବି ରହୁଛି as the population size of the city increases the people become busy and have less time for social activities the socially cohesive societies grows into an individualistic society environmental degradation କଣ ଆସିବ the growth in the size of city leads to environmental problem which leads to degradations of health and social structure ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଥିଲା ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ stage ର stage of city growth next ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ important classification of cities ସେ କେମିତି city କୁ classification କରିଥିଲେ ମଫୋର୍ଡ ର ଏଇଟା city classification first ଥିଲା ତାଙ୍କର ecopolis ecopolis କଣ ecopolis refers to a small settlement with rural culture ecopolis refers to a small settlement with rural culture initially the economic activities in an ecopolis spelling mistake ଅଛି କୋଉଠି କୋଉଠି ecopolis are hunting and gathering as the time progresses, the people learn to practice agriculture. With the advent of agriculture, a surplus of food items is generated. Therefore, the people start to sell the surplus food, Hence, a class of producer and traders emerge. People also build religious place in their settlement, and a defined market area also emerges alongside religious places. Ecopolis ପରେ ଆସିବ ତମର police. In this stage, the ecopolis increases spatial interaction with neighboring villages and grows to become polis. Ecopolis ଯୋଉ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଗାଁ ଥିବ ସେଇମାନେ ପାଖାପାଖି ଗାଁ ଯୋଉଟା କି ନଥାଏ କି ଗୋଟେ କିଲୋମିଟର ଅଧ କିଲୋମିଟର ଦୂରରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ଥିବ ତ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ନେବରିଂ ଭିଲେଜେସ୍ ସହିତ ସେମାନେ ମିଶିଗଲେ ସେଇ ଦିଟା ଭିଲେଜ ମିଶିଗଲେ ସେଇଟା ହେଇଯିବ ପଲିସ. These villages come to the ecopolis for religious and commercial purposes, further exchange of good. ଦିଟାକ ମିଶିଗଲେ ସିଏ ତାର ଆକୁ ଅଦାନ ପ୍ରଦାନ କଲା ସେ ହୁଏନି କି ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ ମନ୍ଦିର ଥିବ ତ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ ଅଲଗା ମନ୍ଦିର ଥିବ ଲୋକ କଣ କରନ୍ତି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ କରନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କର ରିଚୁଆଲ୍ସ ତାଙ୍କର ବିଲିଫ୍ସ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ମିଳୁଥିବ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ ମିଳୁନଥିବ ତ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ତାଙ୍କର ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ ହୁଏ. This village comes to the ecopolis for religious and commercial purposes. Further exchange of goods and services also take place among these villages. The producer and traders in these villages find that it is mutually beneficial to exchange goods and services. Ultimately, a class of traders emerge with strong fraternity. The terms of trade are generally in favor of the traders of the ecopolis or central village, which leads to accumulations of wealth in the ecopolis. Slowly, the market area in the center of the settlement expands. The settlement become a polis, means city. A social hierarchy also emerges where priests and traders command highest position while the rest work as peasants. Spatially, the priests and traders reside near the temple and the market area while the peasants dwell in the periphery of the polis. ତାପରେ ଆସିଲା ଥାର୍ଡ ଟା ତମର metropolis. Metropolis କଣ? In this stage, the town, polis, and the peripheral village grow spatially and merge to form a metropolis. ଟାଉନ ଆଉ କିଛି ପେରିଫେରିଆଲ ଭିଲେଜ ଯଦି ସ୍ପାସିଆଲି ଏକା ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ବଢୁଥିବେ ଆଉ ସେ ଦିଟାଙ୍କୁ ମର୍ଜ କରାହେଇଯିବ ତ ତାର କମ୍ବିନେସନ ସେ ମର୍ଜ ହେଇସାରିଲା ପରେ ଯୋଉ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମେ କହିବୁ ସେଇଟା ହେଲା ମେଟ୍ରୋପଲିସ ମଦର ଅଫ ସିଟିଜ. The metropolis increase its economic efficiency through specialization of trades. The specialization refers to the division of work between different firms or different part of the city. For example, some area of the city is allocated for industrial use and some for leisure and some for residential purposes. Additionally, the firms in the industrial area divided work. They produce one component of a larger product. The specialization leads to decline in wastage and betterment of quality. Therefore, sorry. Therefore, the metropolis contains sufficient water, food, and housing amenities. The next one is your megapolis. Megapolis kono? In this stage, the immigration of people from different parts of the country leads to diversification of culture. The society starts to become individualistic and people grow indifferent to other plight. The crowding of megapolis result in shortage of resources which leads to class conflicts. At the end of this stage, the city starts to decline. Next ହେଲା ତମର Trinopolis. Trinopolis କଣ? In this stage, the society becomes completely individualistic. The city acts like a parasitic state. Means that the city takes away the surplus resources from the rest of the country for its own pomp and pleasure. Due to environmental degradation, the people start to move towards the villages. ଏଇଟା ହେଲା ଟ୍ରାଇନୋପୋଲିସ୍. ନେକ୍ରୋପୋଲିସରେ କଣ? Necropolis means dead city. In this stage, the environmental degradation, resources scarcity, and erosions of cultural institutions leads to famine, war, and epidemics. Eventually, the city goes through great turmoil and decays. ଏଇଟା ଥିଲା ମୋଫୋର୍ଡର classification of cities. 4, 5, 6 ଛଅଟା classification ତାଙ୍କର. PPT ଟା ମୁଁ share କରିଦେବି ତମର ଇଏରେ. ମାନେ ମୁଁ share କରିଦେବି PPT ଟା ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ. ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଆମେ ପଢିବା ଏଇଟା ସେ ଯୋଉ ଟିକେ ଛଡା ହେଇଥିଲା ୟୁନିଟ 1 ର ଅରିଜିନ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ ରେ ଥିଲା ମେଡିଭାଲ ପିରିୟଡ ଆଉ ମଡର୍ନ ପିରିୟଡ ଆନ୍ସିଏଣ୍ଟ ପିରିୟଡ ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ପଢିବା. 5 minutes ପରେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିବି.
Yes, ma'am.
ହଁ ଟିକେ 5 minutes ପରେ ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରୁଛି ସେଇଟା.
सॉरी मु एक्चुअली लेट रे जॉइन कली. मैडम एक्चुअली को ग्रुप कथा कहले कि कहि परिबे टे काइंडली माने किसी सेमती व्हाट्सएप कि टेलीग्राम ग्रुप क्रिएट हिच ना को ग्रुप कथा कहले.
I think madam पुराना ग्रुप कथा कहउछन लास्ट ईयर रो जुलाई सेशन रो.
अच्छा सेही सेटा कोन टेलीग्राम रे तयारी थिला ना व्हाट्सएप रे.
व्हाट्सएप रे ही तयारी हुए.
अच्छा सेटा रे जॉइन करिया पे काहा को कहबी माने मु एक्चुअली लास्ट ईयर जॉइन कर नथिले क्लास टा.
मु तो जॉइन करनी.
ओ सेटा काना मु आज फर्स्ट टाइम क्लास अटेंड कली तो मु जानिनी कोठी मटेरियल शेयर हिची कोन किछि तो सेत पे आउ किछि ऑप्शन ए जो लैब पे किछि अपडेट कले कि
किछि आसीनी अपग्रेडेशन कोठी पचरे पड़े मु भी जानि इनक्वारी कोठी करा हबो.
ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏସସିଏସ୍ ପୁରୀ ଯାଇଥିଲି ତ ସେମାନେ କହିଥିଲେ ଏଇଠି ରିଜନାଲ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ ବୁଝିବା ପାଇଁ ତ ସିଏ କହିଥିଲେ ଯେ ଅପଡେଟ କରାଯିବ ତମେ ଫର୍ମ ଫିଲ୍ଅପ୍ କରିଦେଇଥାଅ ଅପଡେଟ କରାଯିବ. ଏବେ ଯାଏ କିଛି ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ମେସେଜ କରାହେଇନି ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ପଚାରିଲି ଯେ କାହା ପାଖରେ କିଛି ଅପଡେଟ ଅଛି କି ସେ ରିଗାର୍ଡିଂ.
जणा नहीं.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଓକେ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ.
आगे
ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରୁଛି. ଏବେ
Yes, ma'am.
ଆମେ ପଢିବା origin and growth of town, ଯୋଉଟା କି ancient period ରେ କଣ ଥିଲା, medieval period ରେ କଣ ଥିଲା, modern period ରେ କଣ ଥିଲା, origin କେମିତି ହେଇଥିଲା ତାର, ତାପରେ origin ପରେ ତାର growth କେମିତି ହେଇଥିଲା town ର, ସେଇଟା first ହେଲା ତ ଆମର ancient time ରେ. In ancient time, people prefer to dwell primarily in the area which are rich in water resources and fertile land. आगुरु केमती जो civilization start होतला कोठी होतला, जोठी तांको water resources easily available थिबो, fertile land थिबो for agriculture, which leads to the first urban revolution. Development of ancient town took place where there was availability of land and water transport, safety for enemies, and presence of free trade zone in nearby area. The origin of major towns in ancient cultural region, ଯେମିତି କି ତମର ପ୍ରଥମ ହେଲା Mesopotamian cities. ଏଇଟା Sumeria is believed to be the earliest identified city, which was located in southern Mesopotamia. Earliest settlements such as Jericho display fortification and concentrations of settlement like early feature of such cities. Some cities in true sense developed along the valleys of river Tigris and Euphrates. Agriculture flourished in this area ranging from hilly terrain to lowlands. Many cities such as Urk, Ur, Lagas, and Al Ubaid flourished from the period 5300 BC to 3100 BC. Each Sumerian city had a hinterland which supplied food to them. This city were surrounded by a wall for dense defense purposes and also demarcated area between privileged class and less privileged class. Second ହେଲା cities of Nile Valley. The evolution of cities in Nile na Nile, कौन pronunciation हुए? What
Madam
is the
Nile.
correct pronunciation? Nile. Nile na?
Nile.
The evolution of city in Nile Valley is believed to be around 3500 BC, but the pace of development was slow, which is located at the western flanks of Memphis was the oldest city of this valley. This was the first territory of ancient Egypt, though the development of Egypt was influenced by Sumerian civilization was primarily was a result of political structure. The civilization of Nile Valley was fully controlled by Pharaoh, the monarch of ancient Egypt. These cities were primarily for the satisfaction of Pharaoh's need, mainly the need of construction of grand tombs. The city was developed to construct the place to bury Pharaohs. Once the Pharaoh was buried, the city used to be abandoned. ତାପରେ ହେଲା ତମର Indus Valley city. Indus Valley civilization was once a developed civilization located primarily at the bank of river Indus in western part of the subcontinent of India. This civilization is believed to developed around 5000 BC, but the urban civilization peaked around 2500 BC to 2250 BC. Archaeological excavations have revealed that many cities with well-developed modern days urban features. Major cities of these civilizations were Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Dhaluvira, etc. Indus cities give the reflection of fast planned cities. These cities have broad, straight roads crossing each other at right angle. Unlike the Sumerians, the Indus Valley civilization is believed to be a large kingdom. Each city had a citadel, probably for the ceremonial purposes. This city had varied housing type ranging from single room to impressive large houses. This city had developed drainage system and regular water supply. Next ହେଲା ତମର northern China. The longest continuations of civilization is found in China, which is situated along the Huanghe River, as per Shan culture. This civilization dates back to 1500 BC. This was a literate society, literate, not illiterate, literate society, which was stratified, and the divine king was the top of this society, who was supported by a warrior. These cities were probably walled, and kinged place was located in the center period started in 200 BC, which gives the impression of a flourished and continuation great civilization. ଏତିକି ଯେତିକି ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ତମର ancient ରେ ଥିଲା. Mesopotamian city, cities of Nile Valley, Nile ତ? ହଁ Nile. Cities of Nile Valley, then Indus Valley cities, then northern China. ଏଇ ଚାରିଟା ଥିଲା ତମର ancient ରେ. Then ତମର medieval ରେ. Medieval ରେ କୋଉଟା ଥିଲା? Medieval ରେ during the medieval ages town, cities, cities and audible ହଉଛି ତ?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
ଆଚ୍ଛା.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. During the medieval ages, towns and cities were center of power in Europe and also elsewhere, and land resources used to be at the core of the wealth of the empire. In order to attract merchants from neighborhood, the Duke of Saxony founded the city of Lubeck in 1159. This city was situated on the western side of Baltic Sea. It emerged as a nucleus of German trading system. Then Tamarava, the Russian city Novgorod, was also once a major center. The trade and commerce was embedded in the urban structure of the Lubeck. Though the town has medieval cathedral and monasteries, but it was dominated by central marketplace. The main causes of growth of these towns were the influx of immigrants coming from coming for employment purposes. Many new towns such as Tumbage, Vinag, Quito, etc., emerged out of the administrative efforts in the north and northwest part of the South America. Shanghai, Peking developed in China. ଆମର ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ medieval towns ଗୁଡା କଣ? Some such towns are Madurai, Kanchipuram, present day ଯୋଉଟା କି ତ୍ରିବେନ୍ଦ୍ରମପୁରମ୍ ଅଛି, ତିରୁଚିରାପଲ୍ଲୀ, ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ. Vijayanagaram emerged as an important town of this period in South India. During the 16th and 17th century, the towns such as Agra, Lahore, Delhi, Allahabad, built by the Mughals, were famous for their concentration of population, their monumental buildings, and their imperial grandeur and wealth. The center of city had a bazaar for commerce and trade activities located little away from the fort. Third ହେଲା ତମର modern. Modern ray, the development of urban place in modern times is very dynamic in nature. Establishment of industries became the main cause of urbanization after the Industrial Revolution. The presence of transport and electricity gave opportunity to people living in rural areas to move to the urban areas. The concentration of industry lead to concentration of people at one place. Prior to 1800, yeah, that is only 20% of the Europe population was urban. 18th ତମର 1800 century ରେ ତାଙ୍କର 20% ୟୁରୋପ population urban ଥିଲେ by 1850 it increased to 50% in England. By the beginning of the 20th century, France also had 50% population living in urban area. Post 1945, the urbanization of Europe reached 80%. During the same period, North America, Japan, Australia also witnessed rapid increase in the number of towns. The largest European city in 1800 was London, followed by Paris in 1790. USA had only two towns with a population more than 25,000. For understanding it conveniently, the growth of modern period cities in the United Kingdom, Europe, America, India can be divided into four phase. Four phase रे 1800 ରୁ 1880 ଗୋଟେ phase, 1880 ରୁ 1914 ଗୋଟେ phase, 1914 ରୁ 1950 ଗୋଟେ phase ଆଉ 1950 ରୁ present ଗୋଟେ phase. 1800 ରୁ 1880 जो phase रे during this period two types of town emerged. The first was new industrial cities such as Manchester and second older capital cities as London. The industrial cities had a large number of industries and population working therein. However, the old cities did not witness large industrialization. Rather, a change was noticed in the size of town and people's ways of living. Capitalists controlled the function of the industries and ultimately the function of the cities. In 1880 to 1914, in this phase, heavy industrialization based on new innovation in the field of electricity, automobiles, chemistry, media, etc. The city in many parts of Europe, such as Hungary, Italy, Austria, Sweden, colonial cities in India, including Calcutta, etc., which were growing at slow pace, witnessed a rapid growth rate. New way of planning and management became widespread in towns. Third phase ରେ ଆସିବ ତମର 1914 to 1950 phase. This was the era of two world wars. During this period, cities were the focus of conflicts and struggle between various ideologies. This period witnessed uprising of many towns such as St. Petersburg in 1917, Vienna and Berlin in 1919, and destruction of many towns such as Warsaw of Poland, Kolgen of Germany, Tokyo and Osaka of Japan. Fourth phase रे 1950 to present. Post-war phase witnessed reconstruction, some development of new cities and towns. America and Western Europe witnessed an unprecedented growth in urbanization and number of cities. The centrally planned economies in communist-controlled Eurasia played a major role in urbanization, industrialization, and growth of cities. Not only in Europe, US and Mexico also witnessed high increase in urban population, but also newly independent country of Asia and Africa too witnessed extreme growth in urbanization and the number of urban settlements. Some of the largest cities of the world are located in such newly emerging economies found in Latin America, Asia, and Africa.
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ତ ଦେଖାହଉନି ଆପଣଙ୍କର।
ନା ନା ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ ପିପିଟି କରିନି, ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ ପିପିଟି କରିନି। ଏଇଟା ଯୋଉ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଯୋଉ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ପଠା ହେଇଥିଲା ଏଇଟା ୟୁନିଟ 3 ରେ ଅଛି। ମତେ ଟାଇମ ମିଳିଲାନି ପିପିଟି କରିବା ପାଇଁ, ତ କାଲି ହିଁ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଘଣ୍ଟାଟେ ପାଇଁ ହିଁ ସେ ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ଓପେନ ହଉଥିଲା। ଏବେ ଯିଏ ବି ଓପେନ କରୁଛି ସେଟା ଓପେନ ହେଇପାରୁନି। ତ ଯୋଉଟା ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଦେଇଥିଲି ଏଇଟା ସେ ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଲିଙ୍କ ରେ ହିଁ ତମର ଅଛି। 3 ରେ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ଅଛି
କୋଉ
ତମର।
ଗ୍ରୁପରେ?
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆମେ
ଦେଇଛି
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ନାହୁଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି
ଏଇଠି କିଏ
ଜାନୁଆରୀ
ଗ୍ରୁପ
ସେସନ କିଛି ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇନି ବୋଧେ।
ନା ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ତ ଗୋଟେ ଥର୍ଡ ପେପର ଯୋଉଟା ମୁଁ ପଢେଇଥିଲି ସେଇଥିରେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଥିଲା ପିଲାମାନେ 43 ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତା ଦେହରେ 42
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ସେଟା
ଅଛନ୍ତି।
ଜାନୁଆରୀ 24 ର କିଛି ହେଇନି।
ନା ନା ଜାନୁଆରୀ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ସେଟା ହେଇଥିଲା ଜାନୁଆରୀ ମନ୍ଥରେ ତ କିଛି ହେଇନି।
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସେଟା ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆମେ ଜଏନ୍ ହେଇନୁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ତମମାନଙ୍କର ମାନେ ମାନେ ସେଟା ନଥିଲା କି ତମର ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ସେମିଷ୍ଟର ଟା?
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଥିଲା ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ମାନେ ସେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରିନୁ ଏବେ କରୁଛୁ ତ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ସେ ପାଇଁ ବୋଧେ ଆମେ ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ନାହୁଁ।
କିଏ କଣ ଯେତିକି ଏବେ ଅଛ ଏଇଖିଣା ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛ କେହି ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ନାହାନ୍ତି?
ନା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଆମେ ମାନେ ଏବେ ଆଡମିସନ କରିଛୁ 24 ରେ
ଯିଏ
ଜାନୁଆରୀ।
ଅଛି ଶୁଣ ଯିଏ ଅଛି ଆଉ ଯାହାର ନାହିଁ ଏବେ ଯିଏ ଯୋଉମାନେ କ୍ଲାସ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛ ତାଙ୍କର ନମ୍ବର ନିଅ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆଡ କରିଦିଅ ସବୁ। ତ
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି
ତାକି
ଏଇଠି
ମୁଁ
ଯୋଉମାନେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛନ୍ତି କେହି ବି ନାହାନ୍ତି ଗ୍ରୁପରେ।
କେହି ବି ନାହାନ୍ତି? ଶ୍ରେୟା ଦେବୀ ଅଛି ପରା ସେଇ ଶ୍ରେୟା
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଦେବୀ
ଏଇ 5
ଶ୍ରେୟା
ମିନିଟ୍।
ଦେବୀକୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ନମ୍ବର ଦେଇଦବ ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆଡ କରିଦବ। ଆଡ କରିସାରିଲା ପରେ ଇଭେନ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ଦେଇଛି ବ୍ଲକ 1 ର ଯୋଉ 5ଟା ପେପର ଅଛି ତା ଭିତରେ ସେଗୁଡା ସବୁ ମୁଁ
ୟେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଦେଇଦେଇଛି ୟୁନିଫର୍ମ ୟୁନିଟ 2 ସେଟା ଦେଇଦେଇଛି ଯାହାକୁ ଦରକାର ସେ ଆଉଥରେ ବି ସେୟାର ହେଇପାରିବ ତା ଭିତରେ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ଯିଏ ମାନେ ସେ ସେୟାର କରିପାରିବ। ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଆକ୍ସେସ ଅଛି ସେୟାର
ଓକେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍
କରିବା
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ
ପାଇଁ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ଯେ ଖାଲି ମ୍ୟାଡମ କଲେ ହବ। ଧର ମୁଁ କେତେବେଳେ ବିଜି ରହୁଥିବି ମୁଁ କେତେବେଳେ ସେୟାର କରିପାରୁନଥିବି କିଛି ଜିନିଷ ଯାହା ପାଖରେ ଯୋଉ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଅଛି କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ସେୟାର କରିଦେଲେ ବେଟର ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମିଳିପାରିବ।
ଓକେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ମ୍ୟାମ୍। କାହାକୁ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କରିବୁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍? ଶ୍ରେୟା ଦେବୀ।
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଏଇଠି
କ୍ଲାସ ନମ୍ବର ଦେଇ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ କ୍ଲାସ ସରିଲା ପରେ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଏଇଠି
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
କ୍ଲାସ
ମେସେଜରେ
ସରିଲା ପରେ
କରିଦେବୁ କି?
ତାକୁ ନମ୍ବର ଦେଇଦବ ସେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଆଡ କରିଦବ ଯିଏ ନା କାହିଁକି ମୋ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ପାଇଁ ପସିବଲ ନୁହଁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏଭ୍ରି ନା କ୍ଲାସ ସରୁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଅଛି କ୍ଲାସ ସରୁ ତମେ ଯଦି କୋଅର୍ଡିନେଟ କରିକି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିକି କରିଦବ ତ କରିଦିଅ। ଏବେ ମୁଁ ପଢଉଛି ତମେ ଯଦି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିକି ସିଏ ଯଦି ଆଡ କରିପାରିବ ତ ଭଲ କଥା। ଠିକ ଅଛି।
ଓକେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ଦ ନେକ୍ସଟ ହେଲା ତମର ଥିଓରିଜ ଅଫ ଅର୍ବାନ ଅରିଜିନ। Harold Carter in 1972 provided a detailed perspective on geography and urban origin. According to him, social scientists, including archaeologists, have proposed 4 explanations for the emergence of towns. Some characteristics features of each explanations are given in the forthcoming sections. ପ୍ରଥମ କଣ ଚାରିଟା ସିଏ ହାରୋଲ୍ଡ କାର୍ଟର ଯିଏକି 1972 ରେ ମାନେ କି ଅର୍ବାନ ର କେମିତି କୋଉ ଟାଇପ ର ଅରିଜିନ ହେଇପାରୁଛି ପର୍ସପେକ୍ଟିଭ ଅନ ଦି ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ହେଲା ତ ସିଏ ତାକୁ 4ଟା ସେକ୍ସନରେ ଡିଭାଇଡ କରିଥିଲେ ଥିଓରିଜ କୁ। ତ ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଅର୍ବାନ ଅରିଜିନ ର ଥିଓରିଜ ହେଲା ହାଇଡ୍ରୋଲିକ theories or environmental basis of urbanism. Studies identified the importance of irrigation for urban development, particularly in the and semi-arid climate of Middle East. It suggested that large-scale water management was required for centralized coordination and direction. 3 main characteristics of a hydraulic society were identified, and these are first one is your permits and intensifications of agriculture. Second one is involves a particular division of labor. Third one is necessities cooperations on large scale. Second theory ହେଲା ତାଙ୍କର economic theory or growth of market. Two closely interrelated interpretations can be given of economic theories of urban origin. The first can be called mercantile, for it views the city as the product of long distance trade, while the second can be called Market for it interprets the city as the center created by a reason to focus its internal processes of exchanges. The theory, economic theory, put forward the idea that large-scale trading and network of merchants and traders enabled the growth of towns. These trading activities required a strong administration to control the production and distribution of goods. Such organization may have power beyond the trade and have control over the overfunction of the city as well. The need to increase production for trade enabled more people to engage in the processes and lead to the concentration of population in particular area and help in the development of town. Third ହେଲା ତମର military theories. These theories, military theories, a theory suggested that the origin of the city was due to the concentration of people to protect themselves from the external enemies and threats. The origin of cities lay in the need for people to gather together in search of protection. Once that agglomeration has been brought about, overseen by a military establishment, then the other changes characterizing urbanization took place. In support, it is adduced that different centers and towns are co-occurring. Fourth ହେଲା ତମର religious theory. This theory believed that well-developed power structure is required for the formation and perpetuations of urban place. The power was concentrated in the power was concentrated in the hand of religious elite class who were responsible for the distribution of surplus products. This religious center became the exile of the process of social transformation. The population around this center started concentrating and the urban area emerged. Then next ହେଲା ତମର location and site of the town. ଲୋକେସନ କଣ ସାଇଟ୍ ଅଫ ଦି ଟାଉନ କଣ ଲୋକେସନ ମାନେ କି ଗୋଟେ ଏମିତି ଟାଉନ କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଏଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଲିଶମେଣ୍ଟ ହବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକେସନ ଦରକାର ଏମିତି ସେମିତି ଲୋକେସନ ରେ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଟାଉନ ଏଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଲିଶ ହେଇପାରିବନି ତାର ଲାଟିଟ୍ୟୁଡ କେତେ ତାର ଲଙ୍ଗିଟ୍ୟୁଡ କେତେ ତାର ଟେରେନ୍ ସାଇଜ କେମିତି ତାର ଲୋକେସନାଲ ଆସ୍ପେକ୍ଟସ କଣ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡେ on the basis of locational aspects towns can be classified in the following types. Riverside town को भी तमे देखिଛ. There are the towns which were primarily located on the river bank. River have been the point of interest for human survival and progress. ଯେମିତି କି ତମର drinking water ହେଇଗଲା, agriculture ହେଇଗଲା, housing construction ହେଇଗଲା, garden ହେଇଗଲା, etc. Many rivers are associated with religious practice and pilgrimage, and the scarcity got attached on the to the river banks. This river also provided a good way for transportation. In India, river banks became the most important and preferred location for this settlement. For example, Agra, Ayodhya, Bhagalpur, Gaya, Cuttack, Chennai, Coimbatore, Varanasi, Guwahati, etc. in India. Second ହେଲା ତମର interfluvial location. Interfluvial location କଣ? Interfluvial site between the two rivers are also another important location for town establishment, sitting to the advantage the convergence of land route, commanding topography, and a central location with respect to a productive region. These towns are associated with administrative functioning, trade and commerce. Cities in Dobs of Punjab are suitable example of interfluvial location. Third ହେଲା ତମର confluence town. Confluence town zone ଟା ହେଲା the confluence zone of two or more river have been the center of the growth of urban center. ଯୋଉଠି କି ତମର ନେଭିଗେସନ ହେଇପାରୁଥିବ river side ରେ, fertile soil ମିଳୁଥିବ around the given area which give rise to the urban center. For example, Prayagraj in Allahabad. Zone of contact town. It is the towns located between the differential units of landscape are called zone of contact town. These are important for town location because at this point land route from plain and plateau connect with each other for transfer of goods. For example, Jammu, Aurangabad, Sasaram, Nawada, Rewari, Bharatpur, Gwalior, Jhansi, Mirzapur, etc. Hill station. The scenic beauty and climate of hill station act as a preferred location for the establishment of the town. In such a location, the prime consideration is the advantage of climate, health and scenic beauty of the local environment. For example, Almora, Nainital, Mussoorie, Simla, Dalhousie, Gulmarg, Darjeeling, Ranchi, Shillong, etc. Next ହେଲା ତମର nodal town.
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Nodal town କଣ? ହଁ କୁହ।
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ହିଲ୍ ଷ୍ଟେସନ୍ସ ଗୁଡା ମାନେ କଣ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ କଣ ନର୍ମାଲ ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସ୍କେପ ରୁ?
ହଁ ନର୍ମାଲ ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସ୍କେପ ରୁ ହିଲ୍ ଯେମିତି ନର୍ମାଲ ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସ୍କେପ ତମର ଆହ୍ଲାବାଦରେ ତମର ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆ ନା, ହିଲ୍ ଷ୍ଟେସନ ରେ କଣ ତମର ଟପୋଗ୍ରାଫି ସେମ୍ କି? ଯୋଉଟା କି ମିନ୍ ସେ ଲେବୁଲ ରୁ ତମେ ଯୋଉଠି ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ କରିବ ହିଲ୍ ଏରିଆରେ ତାର ଟପୋଗ୍ରାଫିକାଲ ଫିଚର ଏକା କି? ହିଲ୍ ଏରିଆରେ ତମର ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ, ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସ୍କେପ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପାଇବ, ୱେଦର କଣ୍ଡିସନ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପାଇବ, ରୋଡ ନେଟୱାର୍କ ସବୁ ତମର ଏକ୍ସେସିବଲ ସେଇଠି ଆଗରୁ।
ଯେତେବେଳେ ବ୍ରିଟିଶର୍ସ
ହଁ
ମାନେ
କଣ ହେଲା?
ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡ୍ୟୁସ
ହଁ ବ୍ରିଟିଶ ମାନେ ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ ସିମଲା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ହିଲ୍ ଷ୍ଟେସନ ଯାଆନ୍ତି କାହିଁକି ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ ମାନେ କି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ ରହୁଥିଲେ ସେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ ହିଲ୍ ଷ୍ଟେସନ ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ ପ୍ରିଫର କରନ୍ତି କାହିଁକି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆରେ କ୍ଲାଇମେଟ ବହୁତ ହଟ୍ ଥାଏ, ତ ସେମାନେ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ସମର କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲ ଥିଲା ନା ଆମର ସିମଲା, ତ ସେଠି ସେମାନେ ପଳାନ୍ତି, ତ ସେଇଠି ସେମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗଲେ ସେଇଠି ଗୋଟେ ଟାଉନ ସେମାନେ ଏଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଲିଶ କରିଥିଲେ ସେ ସମୟରେ, ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ପଟ କୁ ସେମାନେ କରିଥିଲେ ହିଲ୍ ଏରିଆକୁ। ନୋଡାଲ ଟାଉନ୍ସ କଣ? ହଁ କୁହ ସନ୍ଦୀପ।
ଥଣ୍ଡା କଣ ପାଇଁ ଲାଗେ ସେଠି ମ୍ୟାଡାମ?
ହଁ କଣ ହେଲା?
ମାନେ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ସେଠି ୱେଦର କ୍ଲାଇମେଟ ଟା ସେଠି ଥଣ୍ଡା କଣ ପାଇଁ ଥାଏ?
ଆରେ ତମର ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆ ରୁ ହାଇଟ୍ ଯେତିକି ଏଭବ ଯିବ ମାଉଣ୍ଟେନ ଏରିଆରେ ଯୋଉଠି କି ତମର ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ ଏତେ ନଥିବ, ବେଶୀ ନଥିବ, ୱେଦର କଣ୍ଡିସନ ଟିକେ ଭଲ ରୁହେ କାହିଁକି କି ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆରେ ବେଶୀ ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ରେଜ୍ କରେ ଯେହେତୁ ମାଉଣ୍ଟେନ ଏରିଆ ଆଉ ସେ ଜାଗାରେ ଫରେଷ୍ଟ ଥାଏ, ତ ସେଇ ଜାଗାରେ ବେଶୀ ତମର ମାନେ କି ହିଲି ଏରିଆରେ ତମକୁ ଥଣ୍ଡା ଲାଗେ, ଗରମ ଲାଗିବନି। ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ବେଶୀ ସମରରେ କାହିଁକି ପଳାନ୍ତି ହିଲି ଟ୍ରାକ୍ କୁ? ସେ ଜାଗାରେ ୱେଦର କଣ୍ଡିସନ ଟା ଭଲ ଥାଏ ଆଉ ଏୟାର ଟା ବହୁତ କ୍ଲିନ ଥାଏ, ପଲ୍ୟୁସନ ଫ୍ରି ଏୟାର ଥାଏ। ମାଉଣ୍ଟେନିୟସ ଏରିଆରେ ତମର ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲାଇଜେସନ ବେଶୀ ହୁଏନି ହେଲା, ତ ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆରେ ଆମର ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲାଇଜେସନ ହେଲେ ବେଶୀ ଗାଡି ମଟର ବେଶୀ ଚାଲିଲେ କଣ ହବ, ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲାଇଜେସନ ହେଲେ ଟେମ୍ପରେଚର ଟା ବେଶୀ ରେଜ୍ କରେ, ତ ହିଲ୍ ଟ୍ରାକ୍ ରେ ସେ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡା ନଥିଲା। ସେ ସବୁ ହିଲି ଏରିଆକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତି କୋଉମାନେ, ଏରିଷ୍ଟ୍ରୋକାଟ ଲୋକମାନେ ଆଗରୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତି। ସେଠି ମାନେ କି ତମର ବେଶୀ ଫ୍ୟାସିଲିଟିସ ନଥାଏ। ହିଲି ରିଜନ ରେ ତମର ବେଶୀ ଫ୍ୟାସିଲିଟିସ ନଥାଏ। ତମେ ଏଇଖଣା ଯାଅ ଗୁଲମାର୍ଗ ରେ ତମକୁ କୋଉଠି ବେଟର ଫ୍ୟାସିଲିଟିସ ଅଫ ହସ୍ପିଟାଲ ମିଳିବ କହିଲ? ବେଟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ମିଳିବ। ଦାର୍ଜିଲିଂ ଶିଲଂ ଯେହେତୁ କି ହଁ ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲ ମାନେ କି ସିଟି ମେଘାଲୟର, ତ ଶିଲଂରେ ତଥାପି ତାର ଅଲ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁଡ ବହୁତ ହାଇଟ ରେ ଅଛି, ସେଠି ତମକୁ ମିଳିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ବେଶୀ ଫାସିଲିଟିସ ମିଳିପାରିବନି ଯେହେତୁ ସେଇଟା ହିଲି ଟ୍ରାକ୍ ଇଏ ଏରିଆରେ ଅଛି, ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ତମକୁ ଇଜି ଆକ୍ସେସବଲ ହୁଏ ରୋଡ। ତମେ ହିଲି ଟ୍ରାକ ରେ ଦେଖିବ ହିଲି ମାଉଣ୍ଟେନ ଏରିଆ କୋଉଠି ଏୟାରପୋର୍ଟ ନଥିବ। ସେଇଟା ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆରେ ହିଁ ଥିବ। ତମକୁ କମ୍ୟୁନିକେସନ ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ, ଇଜି ଏକ୍ସେସିବଲ ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ, ଆଉ ତମର ସେଠି କଷ୍ଟ ଅଫ ଲିଭିଙ୍ଗ ବହୁତ ହାଏ, କାହିଁକି କି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ସର୍ଭିସେସ୍ ସେଇଟା ସିଟିରୁ ମାନେ କି ଆସେ ତଳୁ ପ୍ଲେନ ଏରିଆ ରୁ ଆସେ ଉପରକୁ। ତ ସେଇଠି କଷ୍ଟ ଟା ବହୁତ ଅଧିକ ତମକୁ ବିୟର କରିବାକୁ ପଡେ ହିଲି ରିଜନ ରେ। ନୋଡାଲ ଟାଉନ ହେଲା The nodal towns emerge to provide services to the people passing through the routes where river, road or railway transportation meets, such as Howrah. ହାଉଡା ହେଲା ତମର ନୋଡାଲ ଟାଉନ ଯୋଉଠି କି ରିଭର ବି ଅଛି ରୋଡ ବି ଅଛି ରେଲୱେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟେସନ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସେ ଟାଉନ କୁ କନେକ୍ଟ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସବୁ ଯାକ ମାଇନିଂ ଟାଉନ କଣ availability of raw material for heavy industry has been the prime factor for the location of towns. Whenever mining activities start at the location of availability of raw material or natural resources, the labor moves to this place for employment and it leads to concentration of settlement. This gradually emerged as important location for the growth of town. For example, Jamshedpur, Bokaro, Bhilai, Calcutta, Baroda, Hatia, Khetri, Raulkala cities, etc. Next ହେଲା ତମର seaboard and bridgehead town. Seaboard bridgehead town କଣ? The port site where land and sea route meet gives a preferred point for the location of town. This can also be a naval port having strategic significance. The bridgehead towns have facilities of bridge to cross any river. For example, Alleppey in Kerala, Okha in Gujarat, Goa, Mangalore, Chennai, Kochi, Paradip, Surat, Tuticorin, Visakhapatnam, etc. କାଲି ତ ତମର କ୍ଲାସ ନାହିଁ ଆଇ ଥିଙ୍କ ସଣ୍ଡେ ଦିନ ଅଛି
Yes, ma'am.
ସଣ୍ଡେ ଅଛି ନା ସଣ୍ଡେ 3ଟାରୁ ଅଛି ତ ଏଇଟା ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ୟୁନିଟ ର ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଦିଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟସ ଖାଲି ବାକି ରହିଲା ମାନେ କି ସିଟି ଗ୍ରୋଥ ହବା ପାଇଁ କଣ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଅଫ ଦି ଗ୍ରୋଥ ଅଫ ଟାଉନ ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ପଢେଇଦେବି ସେଇଟା 2-3 ମିନିଟ ର ଅଛି ଆଉ ସାଇଟ ର ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ସେଇଟା ପଢେଇଦେଲେ ସେଇ ୟୁନିଟ 1 ଟା ସରିଯିବ ୟୁନିଟ 2 ଟା ମୁଁ ଦେଖୁଛି ଯଦି ଯେତେ ପସିବିଲିଟିଜ ହଉଛି ଯଦି ଡାଉନଲୋଡ କରିଦେବି ତ ଭଲ କଥା ଦେନ୍ ୟୁନିଟ 3, 4, 5 ଟା ମୁଁ ଦେଖିବି ସଣ୍ଡେ ବି ଅଛି ଟ୍ୟୁଜଡେ ବି ଅଛି ନା ତ ସେଇଟା ଦେଖିକି କରି ଭାବୁଛି ଏବେ ଅଛି 10 minutes ଟାଇମ ତ ମୁଁ ସେଇଟା ଫିନିଶ କରିଦଉଛି ଫିନିଶ କରିଦେଲେ ସରିଯିବ ଟାଇମ ବେକାରୀ ତାକୁ ରଖିବି ଏଇଟା ବି ଗୋଟେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆସିପାରେ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଆର୍ ଦି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଅଫ ଗ୍ରୋଥ ଅଫ ଟାଉନ କୋଉ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ଦରକାର ଗୋଟେ ଟାଉନ ର ଗ୍ରୋଥ ପାଇଁ ତ ମୁଁ ଖାଲି ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା କହିଦଉଛି କଣ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା ଯେମିତି ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା ତମର ପପୁଲେସନ ଗ୍ରୋଥ the present area is of the rapid growth of population need better amenities to sustain a better life in order to get access all this the people tend to stay and concentrate at the towns. This lead to the demand of services in a particular area leading to development of that place. Rapid migration ହବ, fertility ହବ, high fertility ହବ to avail the services provided by the town and consequent rapid growth of population is believed to be one of the important factors influencing the growth of town in developing world. Second ହେଲା ତମର industrialization. Industrialization when a heavy industry is established at any particular place, it sees a high influx of people for employment. This leads to the concentration of population in the area around this create a multiplier effect also as many associated industries with forward and backward linkages get established at that place. The industry supplying semi-finished product in the form of inputs to the main industry are those which are supposed to be industry with the forward linkages to the main industry. Those which processes the product which come out from the main industry are supposed to have a backward linkages with the main industry. Skill level ହେଇଗଲା, better market ହେଇଗଲା, close link with other manufacturer and availability of ancillary services such as wholesaler, advertisement agency also adds up to creating a cycle of development and attracting more and more people. Third ହେଲା ତମର commercialization. Commercialization ରେ କଣ ହୁଏ? The commerce and trade has remarkably impacted the growth of town with the development of industries and trade. development of industries and trade also developed. Business persons and traders get attracted towards the city for higher profit. ଯେମିତି କି ତମର economic pool also leads to agglomerations and the growth of the towns, large cities such as New York in USA, Bangalore in India have large proportion of people involved in tertiary or service sectors so that they can easily share more specialized service easily. Fourth ହେଲା ତମର development of transport. Development of transport and its network is an important factor for the growth of town. Transport and urban growth are strongly related. In fact, there is a reciprocal relationship between transport and urban growth. Development of transport network allows people from nearby areas to move to the place of their work. In fact, the transport map and the map of the urban center in a region are congruous. ତାପରେ ହେଲା fifth ହେଲା ତମର better amenities ମାନେ ଯେମିତି କି ତମର better employment opportunity ମିଳିଲା, better health services ହେଲା, education facilities ହେଲା, entertainment ଥିବ, recreational facilities ଥିବ, easy access to market which attract the people from rural areas. It causes rural to urban migration. With the increase in population in such town, the size of towns also expand. Surplus resources. Next, the towns have surplus resources which tend to satisfy the needs of a large population. This acts as a pull factor for people living in surrounding rural areas. They come to the urban center and involve in the functions of the town. This lead to the growth of town. Sixth, seventh ହେଲା ତମର policies. Government policy also impact the growth of towns. Better policy attract more investment in the towns, leading to creations of more employment opportunities. Better policy framework also determine the political stability of the area. The reason with political stability attract the people seeking better opportunities of life and livelihood, which helps in the growth and development of town. Eighth ହେଲା ତମର religious and cultural significance. The religious and cultural significance of a place attract people from the different parts. This ultimately leads to the development of connecting transport network facilities for tourists and other associated activities. This lead to the development of the place as a node. ଏଇଟା ଥିଲା ତମର factors of growth of towns.
मैडम रिलीजियस कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंस रे यूपी तो ହେଇପାରିବ जो राम मंदिर
हाँ यूपी ହେଇପାରିବ religious and बनारस यूपी नो बनारस
बनारस सॉरी मैडम
बनारस
एंड उत्तराखंड
बनारस
मैडम
हाँ
उत्तराखंड रो जो
उत्तराखंड
चारिधाम
उत्तराखंड
आगे
तो माने स्टेट ना ना तमे गोटे टाउन कहबो ना टाउन से टाउन कहूचे थोड़ी ना स्टेट रो कहूचे उत्तराखंड केमते हबो रिलीजियस हेले तमरो हरिद्वार हबो
हरिद्वार यस
हाँ हरिद्वार हबो ना रिलीजियस एंड कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंस तो तमरो हरिद्वार होला उत्तराखंड रे गला तमरो पंजाब रे जेमति कि अमृतसर हे गला देन तमरो यूपी रे बनारस हला अलाहाबाद हला ये सब जिनस बिहार रे जेमति तमरो गया हला रिलीजियस टाउन हला गुजरात रे जेमति ओडिसा रे तमरो पुरी हे गला रिलीजियस टाउन से टाउन कोछि सिटी कोहुनी हला
यस मैडम
ठीक अच्छे मु चेष्टा करबी आउ जति अच्छे ताको कंप्लीट करया पर नेक्स्ट क्लास आई थिंक ऑन संडे 3 to 5 यूनिट 3 यूनिट 2 ता जति देखिल आउ देखिबी कोन अछि कोन नै देखि ताको सारीबी आ जोड़ा जोड़ा मते मटेरियल मिलिबो मु पढुची सेडा सब मु ग्रुप रे सेंड कर देबी ठीक अछि इवन ए पीपीटी टा भी मु सेंड कर देबी ग्रुप रे जोटा आज पढैली हाँ ठीक अच्छे
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, reference book भी କହିଦେବେ କିଛିଟା
हाँ रेफरेंस बुक अर्बन ज्योग्राफी रो अच्छी मु कहीदेवी मु ग्रुप रे मेसेज करदेवी जदि रेफरेंस बुक तमे किछि पढ़िया पई चाहो सेटा भी तमे पढ़ी परिबो ऑनलाइन भी माने कि अवेलेबल अच्छी सबुठु बेस्ट मु कहिबी रेफरेंस बुक पढ़िबा भलो किछि खराब कथा नुहे किंतु तम मानक पाखरे एबे टाइम बहुत लिमिटेड अच्छी जेहेतु तमर फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड सेमेस्टर गोटे ही ये रे होची तो तम पाखरे सेतिकी टाइम नै जे तमे आउ गोटे बही को फॉलो करिके
मैडम
पढ़िया
मैडम मैडम
हम्म कुह हेलो हेलो हाँ श्रिया कुह कौन कहूतलो तो बेटर कि माने कि धर गोटे गोटे कॉन्सेप्ट तुमको जदि बुझा पड़नी जैसे कि थ्योरीज रही गला गोटे गोटे ताको तुमे माने कि हाँ कुह श्रिया देवी कुह ऑडिबल होनी तम साउंड
हेलो मैडम मैडम ମୁଁ
ऑडिबल होनी
ब्लॉग 2 3 4 टा ग्रुप रे सेंड कर दी
ऑडिबल होनी ब्रेक होची वॉइस टा ऑडिबल होनी
ସେଇଟା
ब्रेक
ଆପଣ
होची टिके क्लियरली टिके कहली बेटर हबो सुबह जाऊनी भल से टिके ब्रेक होची जदि टिके
मैडम
ऑडिबल
ब्लॉग
हुंता
2
तले
3
बेटर हुंता
4 ଟା
कोन
ମୁଁ
कहया पे
ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ
चाहछो
ପଠେଇ
ठीक अछि थैंक यू तो तमरो डाउनलोड हैला की ठीक अच्छे
मैडम
जोड़ा
ଥିଲା
जोड़ा
ଆଗରୁ
पाइनस
ଥିଲା ମୁଁ
यूनिट
ଦେଖିଲି ଏବେ ଥିଲା
हाँ
ତ
हाँ हाँ
ପଠେଇଦେଲି
हाँ हाँ बुझिली बुझिली हाँ हाँ थ्रेटा हाँ हाँ गटे जो माने ऐड करिकी पठेलो तो जो माने पाई नांती से माने एटलीस्ट पाई जिबे तो एबे जोड़ा जेमती धर कॉन्सेप्ट किछि हे गला तमर क्रिस्टलर मॉडल जेमती कहलो कि K3 K4 K7 सेटा टिके हायरार्की केमिति अछि तंकर हेक्सागोनल मॉडल ए सब को डीपली बुझिया पई हेले यूट्यूब की जो यूट्यूब चैनल रे तमर जो 10 मिनट्स क्रिस्टलर थ्योरी तमे देखिदबो ए जो यूपीएससी बाइजूस रे सब आसे जदि टिके फंडामेंटल कांसेप्ट क्लियर करा पय चाहो तो यूट्यूब रो 5 मिनिट्स 8 मिनिट्स रो गोटे गोटे वीडियो दोछि गोटे गोटे थ्योरी रो ताकू जदि भी देखले ସେମାନେ एक्चुअली कोन करछन ना ସେମାନେ पूरा डायग्राम करिके ताकू ये करिके प्रेजेंटेशन ता करछन तो सेटा इजी एक्सेस हे जो तुमको आउ टिके भल से बुझिया पय तो ताकू तमे बुझी परिबो काहे कि एबे तो टाइम बहुत कम अछि ना तो मन को पढ़िया को भी पड़बो एग्जाम पय
Yes, ma'am.
हम्म ठीक अछि रखुची संडे दिन 3टा ରୁ 5टा क्लास अछि 3टा रे देखा करछि हला
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक अछि
Thank you,
बाय
ma'am.
हम बाय
मैडम ब्लॉग 2 मैडम
हाँ कुह कुह हाँ हाँ मु देखे
मैडम ब्लॉग 2 3 4 पठे देछि
हाँ
ग्रुप
हाँ
रे
मु देखिली देखिली देखिली
थिला आगु मो
हाँ हाँ ठीक अछि थैंक यू आ जो माने पाई नांते से माने पाइबे किछ असुविधा नहीं
मैडम प्रीवियस पीरियड जो मैं गत काली रे सेटा भी टिके पठेले भलो होंता
हाँ हाँ मु पठे देबी सेतरे टिके आउरी टिके एडिटिंग करिकि मु पठेबी ହେଲା आउ टिके कोन
ओके
चाहूची
मैडम
ता धरे करबी टिके काली गोटे दिन अछि मु सेटा करिकि पठेबी ହେଲା ठीक
ओके
अछि
मैडम
ओके
थैंक
बाय
यू
बाय